shots. Like, honestly, if we were doing Dark Side of the Ring, like, this would be a shot that we would do.
But can I get you right? You can do whatever to the cage there, but can I get you right on the mic? Let me hear you.
Am I not on it?
Well, yeah, I'm just listening. I sound louder than you. Go ahead.
Yellow.
Okay, you ready to go?
Yes.
Okay, you sound great. Let's do it. Let's do it.
What up, Mike? Toronto. VK on the beat. Check. I'm in Toronto where you wanna get the city love. I'm from Toronto where you wanna get the city love. I'm in Toronto like we wanna get the city love. My city love me back for my city love.
Welcome to episode 1592 of Toronto Mic'd. Proudly brought to you by Great Lakes Brewery, a fiercely independent craft brewery who believes in supporting communities, good times, and brewing amazing beer. Order online for free local home delivery in the GTA. Palma Pasta. Enjoy the taste of fresh, homemade Italian pasta and entrees from
fresh.
Palma Pasta in Mississauga and Oakville. Season 7, I can't count to 7. Season 7 of Yes, We Are Open, an award-winning podcast from Monaris, hosted by FOTM Al Grego. RecycleMyElectronics.ca. Committing to our planet's future means properly recycling electronics of the past.
That's how you do it. That's how you want to save the world. You want to recycle your electronics properly. And Ridley Funeral Home. Yes.
Pillars of the community since 1921. Today, joining me is an FOTM Hall of Famer. It's the return of Stu Stone. How the hell you doing, buddy?
You don't have an applause button?
Yeah, I think I do. Hold on.
Thank you.
It's so cheesy. I feel like I'm in a morning zoo show or something.
But that's okay.
But there you go. You asked for it. You get it. You were impressed that I got a couple of things right. Like the camera angle is to your satisfaction.
Michael, I'm telling you, you have stepped your game up here. The camera is in a nice spot. There's some nice ring lighting. I even see you've got, not to break the fourth wall here or the fifth wall.
Don't go nuts.
But you've also got like a lamp that is literally, he's bouncing the light off the wall on him. That's professional. That's how we would do it in the movies, Mike.
And you know a thing or two about making movies, which we'll discuss.
There is it's a much better setup. There's a little bit, still a little bit left to be desired on the coloring of this shot.
Right.
But you look good, and it's great to be back. I love you, and I love coming here into the basement and doing the real talk with you.
Well, you're an FOTM Hall of Famer,
yes.
Stu. It's an exclusive group.
On my commute over here today, I was thinking about how during the pandemic, we did a show every single week for like almost 2 years. 76
weeks in a row, we didn't miss one. Well, you might have missed one or two, and we replaced you with Brother Bill or something. But we went 76 weeks in a row.
Yeah, and it was just like really, to think that that's already coming up on 5 years ago soon.
You remember when I met you at the Cypress Hill concert?
Yes.
And you had Samoa Joe with you. And
yes.
I think we shared that story last time you were on about
yes.
how I had to Google him, and then I was so impressed to meet Samoa Joe. But I told you, on my way home on the GO station, on my way to Mimico, a guy was sitting there, and he looks up, he sees me, and he shows me his phone. He's listening to a Toronto Mic'd episode, which is a mind blow.
There you go.
But then he told me, Pandemic Fridays, basically, he credited us with saving his life.
Wow.
He said he lost his job, the pandemic hit, but every week, he spent 2+ hours with us, and he says it saved his life.
Honestly, it may have saved our lives because it kept me sane. I really do miss it. And I was thinking like, man, it's crazy how you're so involved with something so intensely for such a, every week for that long. And then all of a sudden it's done. And then it's like, I've seen Cam like 5 times since then. It's like, I've seen you maybe 7 times since then.
Well, I'm going to see Cam on Friday because we have a date at the Art Gallery of Ontario to see Mishy Me.
Yeah. Hey, there you go.
Do you want to come?
When is this?
Friday night, like 7 p.m.
Friday night, 7 p.m., huh?
Yeah, it's...
Where is that at?
Art Gallery.
Oh, that's exciting. What's she doing there? Is she performing?
I forget. I got to ask FOTM Jim Shedden for the details, but I think she's performing, and I think it's like launching a new series there. But yeah, we're going to be there Friday night at 7 p.m.
Wow. Signing autos, taking pics, selfies.
I just want to see Mishi Me. But I was thinking about your life.
Are you gonna wear
By
pants?
the way,
by
DJ
the way?
Lethal is on. Yes.
DJ Lethal is the legend. He's the man.
I can't believe he's on the live stream. Like, I'm honored to have DJ Lethal on my stream.
One of the
here.
greatest to ever do it. And I'm not talking about just music and production.
Well, he wants Superbird.
But as a friend, he's a legendary friend, a very good
It's
friend.
good to hear. Glad to have you here, DJ Lethal, and also you too, Jeremy Hopkin, and you too, Andrew Ward.
Jeremy, what up?
And
Wardy, what
YYZ
up?
Gord is in Antarctica, and he's on the live stream.
Wow.
Like, he's with the penguins.
Just last question: are you gonna wear pants to the Mishi Me thing, or is that a shorts?
You know, I got a pair of doers. I'm gonna. You know what? Actually, I'm gonna bike there, so I'll probably be in my biking pants.
So
but
you
yeah,
will be in pants.
I'll be in pants. Yeah.
Do you have
long
like
pants.
do you
Well,
now?
it's cold now.
Now, do you wear like a winter attire when you go out, or you
Like,
just
I
like
layer
a
up,
t-shirt
so
and you
no,
do?
No. For a bike ride to the because I'm going to the Rivoli tonight to see Lowest of the Low at 8 p.m. So I'll be wearing like. I don't know, I'll have a t-shirt, then a base layer, and then I'll have like a heavy sweater, and then I'll have my like windbreaker type jacket.
So you got a lot going on.
So there'll be like 4 layers there if you add them all up. And then
Fair.
I have a good pair of gloves. I have a balaclava. I'll have my biking pants, which are designed for cold weather. I'll be set. So I will be warm on this ride today. But I was thinking about your life. Like, I only kind of knew you briefly before the pandemic hit, when Cam Gordon introduced me to you. And I was thinking about your life, that you had this 76 weeks where you could be here.
Yeah.
You know, and then since then I realized, oh, Stu Stone, he spends like, and you're going to, clarify, but you spend like half the year talking to wrestlers for a popular series on Vice. And then you spend another chunk of time making movies with your brother-in-law, Adam, 5-7 Films. You'll be in Winnipeg. We'll talk about that in a moment. But you have an active, busy, professional life that takes you on the road. That's why we couldn't continue.
That's true. And I guess when the pandemic was over, opportunities like that presented themselves again.
But you're a very busy man, right? Like, give us a glimpse into your life. I mean, I always say we do a segment on FOTM cast.
I'm getting anxiety just thinking about this.
But you record where, it's literally called Where in the World is Stu Stone?
Yes.
And you're, who knows, Oklahoma?
Yeah,
Who knows where you are?
Yeah. It's true, man. It's true. I definitely have been working, just finishing up season 6 of Dark Side of the Ring, which will be coming out, I believe, in March of 2025. Crave in Canada, Vice in the
Very
States.
popular series.
Yeah, but it's like a traveling show, and you literally are, Lethal would be able to relate to this when he goes on tour. But you're like in a city, you basically see the hotel room,
Right.
you see the location, and then you go off to the next city. But I got to travel all across the country of the United States of America, including Hawaii, in the last 4 years working on this show.
Right.
And it's been very unique to be able to see America, all of it. I'm not talking about just the big cities. I'm talking about the small cities, the highways, the throughways, the fast lanes, the slow lanes. I have been to Carrabba's restaurants, Olive Garden restaurants, Outback steakhouses. I have been to all of the chains, all of the Jimmy John's, all of the Jersey Mike's submarine sandwiches shops that you could be at. I've probably had a Starbucks coffee in every state. So, but it's been a real experience, the experience of a lifetime to do that. Now, my life is not always busy like that. But it has been. It actually has been. For,
like, how
for a
often
while.
do you get to see your mom, and how is your mom doing?
She's okay. She's actually in Florida now. Believe it or not, I don't see her as often as I'd like to, even when we are in the same city. It's a very busy lifestyle for sure, and I don't even know how I would be able to manage a relationship or anything else, like a social life. I get invited to a lot of things. I let a lot of people down. It's sad, that part of it.
How, like, for example, we're talking now, what day is this? December 4th? 4th, I think. So, like, do you have a stretch here where you kind of have your home base in the GTA and you'll stick around for a little bit?
Not
or are you
really.
going to be on the road again
No,
soon?
I'm leaving again. Next week, I'm gone again.
Oh, my God. Where are you going?
I'm going to Los Angeles. So
Okay,
I'll be there for a while. But
and what are you doing in Los Angeles?
I've got first off, I'm gonna unplug for the holidays and just like
Get out of the cold.
Get out of the cold and hang with. Well, even though it's not that warm there in December anymore, people need to recycle their electronics so we can fix that.
Right.
But yeah, just unplug and unwind, and then obviously connect with business opportunities that are out there. Meeting with various networks and agents, etc., trying to like, pitch our slate for 2025 out to the world. We're gonna do a screening of our movie Don't Fuck with Ghosts out in Los Angeles as well. So there's some stuff to do.
Okay, we're going to get into Don't Fuck with Ghosts because the last time I saw you was at the premiere of Don't Fuck with Ghosts.
Yes, that was amazing. I loved having you there. And Cam was there too.
Yeah, so is that the last time you saw Cam?
Yes.
Okay, I got to keep tabs on these things. So it was great. I mean, Gord Martineau was there.
Gordy was there.
Always, when you see the legend, I had a good chat with him. I got lost in his blue eyes again. But there was another gentleman there. I was sitting behind him, and I'm like, I can't believe who I'm sitting behind. Ross Atkins was sitting in front of me.
Yeah, Ross was there. Great guy, great supporter, and him and his wife came to the screening. They loved it. Everybody seemed to love it. It seemed to be a really fantastic night.
It's a crowd pleaser.
It was really one of the greatest nights for me. That's what you do. It's like people think like, oh, you're doing it because you want to do this. I mean, it would be nice to make money, but
you do get money, right?
But the real excitement is doing that, because it is actually a rare thing. I've maybe said this before. There's nothing new I could say to you because we've been on the show so many times. So if I'm repeating myself on like previous anecdotes, stop me if you'd like. But if somebody is a theatrical performer, a theater actor,
right?
A thespian of the stage,
right?
Or a stand-up comedian, or a musician like DJ Lethal, and you go and you perform on a stage, you get instantly you get feedback. Usually you're praised with love, showered with applause, laughter, people are dancing, people are booing. You're knowing if you're a comedian, you know if you're bombing. If you're a band, you know if they're not digging the song.
Right. Immediate feedback.
Immediate. And there's nothing like that. So when you make a movie, now especially in the year 2025, it's very hard to have an experience where you're seeing that on a big screen the way we used to do it. Less and less that's happening. I understand Moana 2 and movies like that are the exception, and Barbie and whatever. Right. But generally speaking, films that I used to go in the 80s and 90s and early thous to see in the theater, movies like Swingers or Reservoir Dogs or Pulp Fiction even.
Right.
Those types of films, like if they came out now, like you wouldn't even see them in the theater. And the people making the movie, like Quentin Tarantino likes to make 70, these big prints and stuff like that. The experience of getting your movie in a theater is almost non-existent now. It's like almost like a lost art of how to watch a movie. So when we get to do it, to make a long story short here, when we get to actually have a screening with a full house of people that are all sort of like excited to watch the movie, and then the movie comes on and it plays the way that it did, which, like, I'm not exaggerating. Everything got a laugh. Like, everything worked. It was just like we were firing on all cylinders that night. And, that's the best. And it's like, so being in a room where I only get to do that once. I don't get to go and do that every day. So I loved it, and I loved that you were there. And I don't want to get emotional about it, Mike.
Well, I like it when you get emotional.
It really is an exciting, fulfilling feeling, because it's so much work goes into these movies, Mike. Right. So much frustration, so much arguing, so much every fucking thing you can think of goes wrong. And to think that, like, I have to start again and do it again now, it's daunting. It gives me anxiety to even think about it.
Well, it's like, what have you done for me lately? Like, okay, this is done. And
now
for the record, though, because at TMLX 17, which was Saturday, we all got together at Palma's Kitchen.
How was it?
It was excellent. And guess who shows up?
Who?
David Kynes.
He's the man.
He goes, Mike, I came from, I don't know, Avenue Road in Bloor or wherever the hell he came from. He's like,
he's the fucking man.
Because I was thinking, you were talking about these movies that go to theaters now, and you mentioned like, whatever. And I was thinking, like Gladiator 2.
Right.
And I was at Gladiator 2 with some FOTMs like Lieve Fumka and
great.
Leslie Taylor.
How's she doing?
She made a big announcement at TMLX 17 in front of the room to tell us all that the last test she did said she's cancer-free.
Shut up.
And the crowd went fucking wild.
I'm going wild. Of the night.
I've got a YouTube clip. I cut it out for you. I'll send it to you.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and I was with Elvis, my buddy Elvis, who is a survivor as well.
Wow.
And Elvis and her have been having conversations throughout this ordeal. She fought the cancer. And she wanted to thank Elvis, and Elvis, for the first time in his life, maybe, was speechless, and they embraced, and there was this real emotional moment.
Wow.
A lot of excitement at TMLX.
I got to tell you, Mike, that is I don't know. I mean, audio, people who are listening to this can't see the joy that is in this room right now. But holy shit, that is great news. I'm so happy to hear that.
Well, she's in an exclusive club with you because you guys are both FOTM Hall of Famers. So when we have our get-togethers, the FOTM Hall of Fame
Is there a
get-togethers,
Hall of Fame get-together?
It's you, Wiseblot at the not Olive Garden. Where do you guys meet again?
The Pickle Barrel.
Pickle Barrel. That's it. So let me think. Can you name the FOTM Hall of Famers?
I can try.
Try.
Gross.
That's one. He was at TMLX 17.
Okay.
Good to see him. Peter Gross.
Cam Gordon.
Cam Gordon's in there.
Lieve Famke, who you just said.
Right. Stu Stone.
Myself.
So you're missing two.
Wiseblot. Did I say?
Yeah,
him already?
Wiseblot. You got one. This one will be tough for you, I think. Let's hear it.
Maybe like the VP of sales.
No, one day
Should be.
maybe.
Should
He's
be,
been lobbying
maybe.
hard.
He should be.
One day.
Who? It's got to be someone that's been on the. Is it a guest that's been on the show a lot, or is
Yeah,
it?
he was the first inductee actually. The first
I
member.
blew the first member.
Yeah.
Huh. I mean, I didn't blow the first.
And
member.
we're hoping to record a Christmas Crackers later this month. Actually, I'm going to help you out again. It is Ed Conroy, who is better known as Retro Ontario.
Retro Ontario is the first inductee.
First inductee.
Wow.
And we saw him at that Hollywood Suite breakfast.
Sure.
Well, yeah, you couldn't make this one,
This
right?
one, last
I saw
one,
Adam
last
there.
one, yeah.
Didn't see you there. Okay, so
Wait.
all this is to say, can you just tell us quickly here before we go back to being emotional, when can somebody listening, when can an FOTM watch Don't Fuck With Ghosts on Hollywood Suite?
That's amazing that you brought that up because David Kynes has given me and my brother-in-law, Adam Rodness, the opportunity of a lifetime, okay? I don't know if he's going to regret this decision, Mike, but Adam and myself on January the 3rd,
Okay.
2025, save the date.
Right.
January the 3rd, 2025.
Okay.
Adam and I will be taking over all of the channels.
Like Al TV.
The Al TV. All of the channels of Hollywood Suite. The 70s channel, the 80s channel, the 90s channel, the thousands and beyond channel. We will be picking all of the movies that are going to be playing on every channel that night. And we're going to be hosting every channel like Al TV style.
Yeah, like bumpers, and
yes,
you're going to give some context.
Yes, bumpers galore.
January 3rd.
January 3rd, starting at 9 p.m. with
9
the
p.m.
world premiere, television premiere, the word broadcast premiere of Don't F With Ghosts, Don't Fuck With Ghosts will be on Hollywood Suite at 9 p.m. that night, followed by, spoiler, Faking a Murder, followed by, spoiler, Bandits. That's just on that one channel. But we picked
all my favorites.
We picked some great movies, some great titles. There's a wrestling movie in there. No spoilers though. But there's some CanCon in there as well. So yeah, you're gonna want to tune into Hollywood Suite on January the 3rd. Set your DVRs for all the channels. We're on all of them. And
that's amazing.
Yeah, it actually is a really cool thing. And Hollywood Suite has been an unbelievable broadcast partner for us. And, we just continue to grow our relationship with them. Now that, we went from trying to find a serial killer a few years ago to now we're, hosting the channel. And hopefully more to come.
Well, there's a greater than zero chance that Hollywood Suite becomes a sponsor of Toronto Mike. These discussions are ongoing.
That would be great.
And David Kynes and I discussed it briefly at TMLX 17, as we also discussed you briefly. And I'm very happy for you because Hollywood Suite, that's a great partner. And David Kynes is a tremendous FOTM. And I mean, that much music postcard there came from David Kynes.
The guy has been a trailblazer for many different facets and many different corners of popular culture in this country. And it's an honor and a privilege to work alongside someone like David. And I'm not just saying that because he gave us the opportunities. He is a cool guy. And he was in our movie. You know what I mean?
Yep.
He's a cool guy. He gets the joke. He's in on the joke.
Sneaky funny, too.
Oh,
you don't see it coming, and then he hits you. And I noticed that on Saturday.
Yeah.
He's sneaky funny.
No, he's the best. And his team is the best. I love Quincy. I love all of them.
He was on the mic when Alan Zweig was on the mic. Is that the right timing? I think they overlapped together, but there was quite a moment I'll tell you about later that happened at TMLX 17.
Okay.
It was Liz Brio-esque. Do you have any PTSD when you think of Liz Brio?
She's still around, huh?
Well, she wasn't there.
Oh, good.
But she showed up at a previous TMLX
I
and went at
remember
you.
that. Yeah.
Which
it didn't, listen,
nobody wanted to hear.
That's what I'm saying. So that made me feel good too, to know that there was someone
that Wilkinson literally put on the boxing gloves.
Yeah, people were, didn't want to see that.
Right. Well, it wasn't fair to you at all because
being
if we
polite?
were busting each other's chops, it's because we're buds and we like each other. It's sort of the way that Elvis and I bust each other's chops. Like there was no venom in your bite. It was with love.
I am a venomless snake, but I will say, like Jake the Snake's snake. I think they like devenomed
Damien.
him. But I will say to Liz Brio, I'm more of a Cam Brio fan, but Liz Brio, I got no hard feelings against Liz. Liz tried something.
Well, she really, her intent was good because she was protecting me.
She came from the right place. She doesn't know that you and I, are boys like we are.
She tuned into a Pandemic Friday, heard you going at me, and thought that you were some big bully going at her mic. And then I had to explain to her that, no, like, we go at each other with, like, love.
It is love. We, like, beat each other up with love.
Okay, so I'm going to actually, like, hit you with questions, but then we will unravel more along the way. And if you want to get emotional, but, I'm always prepared. But I mentioned I was sitting behind Ross Atkins at your movie premiere. And do I say don't fuck with ghosts or do I say don't F with ghosts?
Well, I mean, on your podcast, you can say whatever you want.
Because it's F,
but when we're
asterisk.
It is don't F with ghosts. Technically, when you look it up, it's like don't F and then asterisk K with ghosts.
2 asterisks.
But and then there's some media outlets like when we went on E-Talk, they couldn't even say the title of the movie
They can't even say don't F with ghosts.
No, they
really.
So
bunch of pussies over there.
That was funny, but it was really great. The segment we did was unbelievable. Got us a lot of great coverage, but they couldn't say the title of the movie, so we had to sort of like skirt around it.
Don't blank with ghosts.
Yes.
Something like that.
Yes.
Okay, so just to wrap up the Ross Atkins thing, any insight, is Juan Soto on a flight on his way to YYZ right now?
He is, yes. Signed. That's done. That's a done deal.
This is breaking news, everybody.
Yeah. No, I have no idea.
Take it to social media.
I don't have any insight on that. I hope that I'd like to think that Ross knows what he's doing more than any of us do, and he's a very intelligent guy. He's a very smart guy.
I don't doubt that I think he's an intelligent guy.
And I think it's a harder job than we think. Like, it's not as easy as just like pushing buttons and pulling levers to like make things happen. And otherwise, every team would win. But I do think that he is a good guy. He's got a great heart, and he loves baseball. He loves the Blue Jays. So what more could you want? I mean, obviously we want to get some.
Can I answer that question?
Yeah, of course. We want to win a World Series and all that stuff.
Let's have some playoff victories.
Yeah, that would be great too. But like Ross isn't on the field swinging the bat, but I'm sure he, in his mind, was putting on the best product to try to do that. I don't think he's trying to lose, Mike. I think he's trying to win. And I'm hoping that the right.
Oh, I don't doubt the fact he's trying, and I also don't doubt the fact he's a nice man. And also, we have to check your bias at the door that you have a great relationship
he's my friend,
with him. And I'm not here to trash on him.
Yeah, I don't know. Listen, man,
we
it's
need
a hard
upgrades
job
here, and I want to see some playoff win. We won't do a sportscast here.
So does he. You know what I'm saying? Like, he also wants to see some upgrades here and some wins. So it's like, this isn't the Cleveland Indians from Major League that's like trying to tank.
Right.
This is not a tanking organization. This is somebody that's trying to win, and it's not working yet. And
don't ever let me see you do that.
And hopefully
again.
it will. But I like Ross, and I'm rooting for him, and I'm rooting for the Blue Jays.
We're all rooting for the Blue Jays here. That is a 1986 Shoppers Drug Mart calendar I've got hanging on the wall that was gifted
from
to
Ross.
Me. No, I've never met Ross. I mean, he was at the movies with me, but I was too shy to chat with the guy. Ken Daniel sent me that.
Oh,
from 1986. He kept on to it, and it hangs here. It's forever May because that's George Bell's month here. You got the George Bell pictures. My favorite Blue Jay of all time. Okay, do you know the name Stephen Stone? And Stone is Stohn.
Oh.
Do you know this name at all?
I think so. Sounds like a musical kind of icon.
Well, he is a bit of a musical guy, but he's also big in the Degrassi universe. Married a Degrassi co-creator and had a big role in The Next Generation.
Wow.
So I'll just a bit in the background here. And this is just to say that I have a Stu Stone today, and I am amused. No one else seems interested, but I think it's amusing to have a Stu Stone followed by Steven Stone.
Wait, he's going to be on the show?
He's here tomorrow.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah. And he's got some great music.
How I've fallen from your favor.
Wow.
We talked about David Kynes, who ran Much Music for a period, but before David Kynes was running the show, when he was probably, I don't know, a mic, I don't know, he was probably a cameraman or something when he was working his way up there, working up the ladder at 99 Queen Street East. Christopher Ward was the first DJ. Him and JD Roberts, the first two VJs at Much Music. This Sweet Yacht Rock is Christopher Ward, but it's co-written by tomorrow's guest, Stephen Stone.
Wow. This is beautiful yacht rock.
Have you seen the documentary yet?
Not yet. I'm saving it.
I want to see it too.
That's a beautiful song. And you know what? I actually think I have mutual friends with Stephen Stone.
Drake?
No. Well, sure, yes. But no. More mutual than that.
Okay. Well, he'll be here tomorrow, and I'll ask him if he knows you, because it's always fun to do that.
Ask him if he knows another Aubrey, okay? Not Drake.
Okay, a different
Aubrey
Aubrey.
Winfield. Ask him if he knows that name.
No relation to Dave Winfield.
No relation to Dave Winfield, but it's a different Aubrey than Drake. But ask him if he knows that. Maybe write that down.
Okay,
Because
hold
that's,
on.
I think that's our mutual friend. I've heard him talk about Stephen Stone quite a few times.
Okay, yeah, he's going to be an interesting guest, I think. He's got
Shout out to Stephen Stone.
Yes, Stephen Stone, and spelled differently.
Stu and
ST.
Steve, the Stones.
Did you hear, and I know you're too busy, you're on the road, you don't have a lot of time for Toronto Mike, but did you hear the Clive A. Smith episode in Toronto Mike? And did I ask you this last time you were on? Okay. Clive A. Smith dropped by.
Of course I know who that is.
So
That's a gentleman
give
who...
us an idea, like how many roles approximately, you don't have to give me an exact number, but like how many roles did you get thanks to Nelvana Productions?
Yeah, so Clive Smith, the iconic Nelvana, he's the guy. Well, I'm trying to think.
Well, there's three guys, but yeah, he's definitely the animation.
well,
he
he
was
wa-
a co-founder.
He was the one that was like the Walt Disney of Nelvana.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's think about this. My Pet Monster was the first one. That was Nelvana. Care Bears, that's Nelvana.
Big time. Babar?
Babar is Nelvana. Magic School Bus might have been Nelvana. I don't know.
I don't think that was, but I'm going to come back to Magic School Bus in a moment.
Dog City, was that Nelvana? Should I look up Nelvana? Let's look it up.
Care Bears was like, that saved them because they lost a lot of money with a movie called Rock and Rule.
Yeah,
and
Care
it was
Bears,
like a
Care Bears. The movie was like set up shop for the entire Canadian
100%
animation.
save their ass and set it all up. Like Nelvana was made by the Care Bears' success there. So, and I know you did Babar, which haunted me as a kid. The Babar cartoon, by the way.
Why did it haunt you?
Because I saw, like in book form, not in the cartoon, I saw an elephant eat a poisonous mushroom, and then the elephant died. And I don't know if it's Babar's dad, who
Mom.
might have been the king. Was it the mom?
But she was rude anyway.
Okay, but to this day, if I get like a pizza and there's mushrooms on it, like I'll eat it if it's the only thing there. But it's like I don't order mushrooms on my pizza. Like I'm afraid of mushrooms because it killed Babar's parent. Like I really have a whole mushroom thing because of this damn book I read where the mushroom killed the fucking elephant.
So that's why you've stayed away from...
Yeah. Well, I've been staying away from Doctor Who because that opening scared the hell out of me when I came out of Polka Dot Door. What did you learn there about Nelvana?
I learned a lot about Nelvana. So here's the cartoons that I have done with them. If you'd like to,
I'm ready.
If you'd like to know.
Yeah.
Did you know, by the way, they did the droids and Ewoks cartoons?
Yep, we played the theme song when.
My Pet Monster was the first one. Okay, we've got that one. Then we've got Clifford the Big Red Dog.
Right.
We've got Babar the movie and Babar the TV series. We've got Tintin, The Adventures of Tintin.
Oh, Nelvana did that?
We've got Little Bear.
That was big with my 23-year-old.
We've got The Magic School Bus.
Yes.
We've got Rupert Bear.
Wow.
We've got Dog City.
Wow.
That's a lot. Those are the ones that I did with Nelvana that I can see on Wikipedia. Cadillacs and Dinosaurs. There's another one. I don't know. That's a lot, though.
No, that's a lot of work you got from Nelvana. So
Yeah.
the Clive A. Smith episode, I was just thinking about you because of how many credits you have there, thanks to Nelvana.
I once went on a school trip. I was telling this story recently, but I once went on a school field trip. This must have been in 88, 89. And Nelvana, they were on Atlantic over in the Liberty Village kind of area. And we got the school trip and the bus went and like my class got to go through the, and see how they're drawing. Because like they actually were doing animation in-house at that point.
Right.
Not like it is today, but back in the old days, they actually drew the cartoons. So we went in there, they got to go through and then they had like, the Foley, everything was going on. Like
amazing.
Like it was pretty awesome. But I do remember towards the end of the tour, there was like the garbage and recycling bin kind of area. and it was all cells from the cartoons that were just in the garbage.
Oh my God.
And so everybody from the class like
Grab some cells.
Just grabbed stuff.
Could you imagine?
And it was like Care Bears and My Pet Monster and like all these crazy cells.
Go to a Comic-Con and sell that.
They were throwing them in the garbage.
Wow. They didn't see this this future where these cells had value.
So I don't know whatever happened to the other classmates in their cells. I still have mine. But also,
what show is your cells from?
Well, I have cells because they actually gave us cells. I didn't have to go garbage picking for mine. But the cells that I do have cells for like My Pet Monster and Babar, all the Nelvana ones. I have a cell. I actually have nothing but fond memories of those days working on all those cartoons. It was a really an amazing time.
It really was an amazing time for the city. Nelvana was such a success story. Of course, Chorus ended up buying Nelvana. The Nelvana people got lots of money out of that deal. And now it just seems like a sad time. I have friends who are in animation who are laid off right now. It just seems like a down period for animators.
I think it's a
market.
down period across the board for everybody in every facet of the entertainment industry. It's really difficult these days. But yeah, back in my day, but those glorious days of the 80s and 90s, especially in Toronto, the business was absolutely thriving on another level. I mean, obviously, there's still huge productions that are going on here, but I'm talking about, maybe in the 90s, maybe from like 87 to 93, we'll say. That 7-year run, there was probably only like 5 or 6 people that I would see at every single session. There was like, that's it. There was like 5 or 6 people that had it on lockdown as far as like who's doing the voices for what.
Right.
You'd see the same people every time. And now, it's impossible. Everyone has a microphone at home. Yeah. There's 5,000 people auditioning for every role. Back then, I just got a call. Come, you're on Magic School Bus. It wasn't like
we need Stu Stone.
It wasn't like come and try out for Magic School Bus. It was like, okay, you're booked. Show up here. The show's called Magic School Bus. Okay, you're booked. The show's called The Busy World of Richard Scarry. Show up. It's Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Like it was just a show up kind of world back then.
Do you think now they're competing with like TV and movie stars, right? Like,
you can't.
It's not like,
it's a different world. And like I've been actually, Adam and I have been touring colleges with our film Vandits recently, and I've got a chance to like meet film school sort of students and take a look at what the programs are at various different collegiate institutions. And it's very amazing what they've got there. I mean, the facilities at these places it would blow your mind, Mike, what they have there. Wow. It's like full broadcast quality studios, audio, everything you could want is in this place. But then I'm looking around at the students and I'm thinking like, what a tough thing. Like I'm trying to be encouraging to them. But then I'm thinking like if someone went to, and this is a PSA for those watching, if somebody who goes to like a trade school, Mike, and they learn how to be an electrician, they can go be an electrician. If you learn how to be a plumber, you can go and learn and be a plumber. A dentist, a chiropractor, a florist. I mean, you can go learn a trade at a college or a university and you can have a job. But when you go to film school and you learn that trade and then you graduate, you're fucked. What are you going to do? It's like so hard. I've been in this business since for 100 years and I can't understand how to navigate my way through it sometimes. How are they going to do it? I guess there are jobs on sets to like start as a PA and try to work your way up, but even those are limited. So you have all these students that are learning how to make movies and act and whatever, and it's just like the most unstable career that you could possibly.
But Stu, I'm with you. But they do film a lot of the Netflix junk and these Christmas movies. I see. Oh, look.
Okay, so how Queen many? Street. Okay, so I go to the class and I'm like, okay, raise your hand who's here to study how to be a director. Everybody's hand goes up.
Right.
Who here is studying to be an actor? Everybody's hand goes up. Who's here to be a producer? Everybody's hand goes up. Who here is learning how to light? No hands go up.
Right, and
who's here is learning how to like be a best boy or a dolly or what? Nobody's hands go up. So it's like, I just don't know what to make of it. I feel like they have the advantage they have though is the same thing that's eating the industry, which is social media. The social media is helping these kids of the future have opportunities to showcase their talents like never before. I never in my wildest dreams would have been able to make something in my bedroom in '89 on my camcorder with two VCRs attached to each other in a tape deck to make the song. I used to make movies like that. I couldn't put it online for hundreds or thousands or millions of people to experience it.
Right.
These guys have an opportunity to do that. So there is that going for them. But the whole culture of social media has completely changed the entire popular culture as a whole. People watch movies on their phones now. People listen to your podcast. They're not listening to terrestrial radio anymore. You know what I'm saying? The world is a different world. Not that I need to tell you that, but it's a different world.
So fragmented, which kind of speaks to how amazing it is what you've done with 5'7" films.
Well, it is pretty remarkable what we've done at 5'7" films.
It's not 5'7"?
Well, we are 5'7", but you
5'7" films. People know what I mean. People know what I mean.
Of course, you've been calling it that since day one, so you're allowed.
I think
but I do like it though.
I'll take a note.
That's your pet. No, that's your pet name for it. Let's call it
5'7" films.
But you know what? It does make me. It does humble me. Shout out to Humble and Fred. But it does humble me that I've been able to participate in all these different eras of the industry, and I'm still pretty young, I would like to think, at least mentally. But the fact that I was part of the industry is in a major way in the 80s, in the 90s, in the 2000s, and now heading into the 2020 and beyond. And it's just like I feel like I'm still just getting started. You know what I mean? Like when I was acting in movies when I was a kid, Mike, there was no union rules. There was no like work 2 hours, take a break, teacher, give them a snack, give them a nap. None of that coddling that goes on today. Right. We were smoking cigarettes. You know what I'm saying? Like,
to keep your weight down, like on Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, like we were working 20-hour days. If you don't know your lines, like that's a big problem.
Quaaludes.
So to see, to be a part of the evolution of the industry, especially here in Toronto, it's pretty mind-blowing to me to see where it's at right now. It's and it makes me think like I am becoming the guy that's like back in my day. Like I feel like I'm doing that more often because I really do feel like we really did have those glory days in Toronto in the 80s and 90s that I don't know if we'll ever see it again.
Wow. Fellow Hall of Famer Mark Weisblot is on the live stream, live.torontomike.com. Do you have an opinion on the Rizzler?
I love the Rizzler.
Because he's a wrestling adjacent. And
he is.
A new child star sensation. So educate us, because I actually don't know what I just read.
Okay, well.
Who's the Rizzler?
Mike, that's such a disappointment to hear.
I can't be alone.
Okay.
Help me out, Jeremy.
All right, so
help me out, Canada Kev.
Okay, do you know the Costco guys?
No, I know of Costco, though.
Okay, so
there's one down
guys,
the street from Great Lakes Brewery.
There's these guys, the Costco guys, and I can't believe that I'm having to explain this to you.
Well, I'm not on TikTok. Is this TikTok?
I'm not on TikTok either, but I do know this because I have my ear to the streets.
I'm on Reddit.
So
once a
here's
day,
the deal.
Yeah.
AJ and Big Justice. Okay? AJ is the guy that says double chunk chocolate cookies. And his son, Big Justice, he says chicken bake. And they go to Costco and they do like reviews of the different chicken bakes and the cookies at Costco, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. They sort of became a viral sensation, these two. Now, they saw a video of this kid, the Rizzler, who's this little kid that was dressed up. He might have been 6 or 7 years old, and he's dressed up as the Black Panther, the superhero, and his dad put the video online, and the kid's in a costume, and he's like, I'm the Black Panther, and he's like, oh, yeah? Are you, I'm paraphrasing here, are you brave? And the kid's like, yeah. He's like, okay, go up in the attic. And the kid's like, no, it's too scary. And, like, that video went viral. And so AJ, the dad, contacted the Rizzler and invited him to do videos with them, and the Rizzler does this thing, the Riz face, where he's like, your kids will know. And he's just like got this one kind of note gimmick. Like that's his catchphrase.
Yeah.
Anyway, the guy AJ is a former professional wrestler from the independent circuit in the early noughts.
Okay.
And now he's back in wrestling, and he's got the Rizzler and his son Big Justice, and you're caught up.
Okay. You know what? I missed all of that. Now I got to find out which set of kids would be familiar with this, the 22 and the 20-year-old set or the 10 and 8-year-old set? Or is this in the middle?
I guess it's somewhere in the middle because like high school kids know.
Well, that's how I missed it. Like these kids are too old for that shit.
No, these are young kids, but
young
8-year-olds are probably not on Instagram. So unless they have social media, then they would know it. Like my nieces, I had to teach them about the Rizzler because like they're not on Instagram. They're 8.
Right.
So, but like my 17-year-old nephew, like he sends me videos of the Rizzler and other social media stuff like that. Like they're on social media all day long. Does that make sense?
Mark Weisblatt says Rizzler looks like James Gandolfini.
He does. He's like a little James
Tony
Gandolfini.
Soprano there. Okay.
Totally.
Okay.
He's an adorable young Tony Soprano looking guy, and he does this like face and like that's
okay.
kind of
I'm gonna look this up later. Now I mentioned I'm not on TikTok. It sounds like you're not on TikTok, but I am very active and enjoying Blue Sky. So 2 questions. One, over on Blue Sky, Ruth Capitalist says hi.
Hello, Ruth. That's
I said Stu Stone's coming over, and Ruth says hi.
An old high school. She went with Cam and myself.
Thornley?
Thornley, yeah.
I did a live recording from Christie Pitts during a Toronto Maple Leafs baseball game, and I have the open mic. Anyone can come on.
And Ruth came.
Ruth came on, and we
There
had a
you
little
go.
chat there, and we talked about how she knew you and Cam.
Yes. Well, I'm glad to see that
She was at Cam's wedding.
Was she?
Yeah.
That's great.
There you go. Okay, shout out to MF if she's listening at home. So, are you, Stu Stone, going to eventually come to Blue Sky?
I can.
Well, this is the question.
Is that an invitation?
Yeah. Because I'm actually, the people I follow, I log in to like copy and paste a promotional thing or to see if anybody mentioned me and needs to know something.
What does
or
that
whatever.
all entail? Like, what do I have to do there?
It's basically Twitter without the Nazis.
Oh, really?
Like, do you have any interest in Twitter, the old Twitter before it was X, but the old pre-Elon Twitter before the Nazis took over? If you have any interest in that, the spirit of that, that's what I feel on Blue Sky. I'm enjoying Blue Sky, and I would love
Blue
to have
Sky,
you there.
You're talking about like it's not a physical building.
No, sorry. Yes, it's a social
Okay.
media app.
I thought she was inviting me to her office for like a,
No, it's online. I was gonna say you can probably do it on the computer right now. Here's a name I want to ask you about. Sorry to move on so quickly, but I remember that we don't have unlimited time. So, do you know the name Dan Hennessy?
Of course.
Now, I was sad to learn Dan Hennessy
he just passed away.
Could you speak to who Dan was?
I would love to. Dan Hennessy, a staple of my childhood, a staple of the animation world that we just talked about. You brought up Nelvana. Dan Hennessy's one of the bricklayers that helped build Nelvana on a talent level. This guy was Braveheart Lion in the Care Bears.
Wow.
He was Beetlejuice in the Beetlejuice cartoons.
Who was fantastic. I love that cartoon.
Yeah, he was Beastor in My Pet Monster. He was, I want to say he was like the bad guy in Babar also, maybe in the Raccoons as well. This guy.
Cyril Sneer?
I don't think he was Cyril Sneer, but he was definitely, if there's a show, he was on it.
Yeah, big deal on the voiceover.
This is like one of like the Mel Blancs of Canada type guys. He did all these voices, and then he ended up becoming an incredible voice director, and he cast me in the show X-Men, the X-Men cartoon that he was the director of that show. Which a lot of people say that's the best cartoon ever made, is the X-Men cartoon.
Wow.
From the 90s. He's the director of that show. Wow. And he probably voiced like 20 of the fucking characters on there. He was a great guy. He was very funny. Obviously, as I got older, I lost touch with him, when I stopped being a kid actor in cartoons. But during those days when I was a kid, he was the best. Honestly, he was the best. So funny. It was such a privilege to grow up with a guy like that who was so talented. Wow. And I felt like he made me better. He made me feel like I was the real thing. I'm in there doing like, Chucky on My Pet Monster. I'm like 10 years old. And this guy's doing the Beastor voice, which I don't know if you know it, but you can probably imagine.
I don't know it, but I do want to share that I remember watching the Beetlejuice cartoon and thinking it was very funny. And the voice of, Michael Keaton is now Michael Douglas. Do you know this? Have you heard this yet? So Michael Keaton, who was the Beetlejuice in the movies, he had to become. He had to become a Michael Keaton. Yeah, well, you can Google that while I share that. Michael Keaton was Michael Keaton because he couldn't be Michael Douglas, his birth name, because there is a Michael Douglas, and you know the rules, right? Right. So
I didn't know that actually.
He
so
doesn't.
It's like Al Einstein.
Yeah, like more like
Albert Brooks.
Right. Albert Brooks couldn't be Albert. Well, he could have been probably because he wasn't an actor, but he didn't want to be Albert Einstein. There'd be too much confusion there. So Michael like Michael J. Fox. He had to throw a J in there because there was a Michael Fox actor. So
he wasn't the voice of Beetlejuice.
I'm giving him credit for something he didn't do.
No, he was in the cartoon like
but
all
not
over
the voice
the place.
of Beetlejuice.
He wasn't the voice of Beetlejuice.
Okay. Well, Beetlejuice was very funny. It sounds like this is a great loss, Dan Hennessy. I know I'm boring everybody with my Michael Keaton story, but I found it interesting that he has come out recently to say he'd like to be addressed as his real name, Michael Douglas.
Are you serious?
Yes, this is real.
Since when?
Like since Beetlejuice, the new one kind of came out and he was doing promo for that, I think is when I heard him say that. Okay, so there's another, this is the Ridley Funeral Home segment because we were remembering Dan Hennessy, great voice actor who passed away. But I just learned today on the not-so-secret FOTM group chat on WhatsApp, I learned that this gentleman, Bruce Deegan, it could be Degen, but I can tell you how it's spelled. It is spelled Degen. So I'm going to go with Bruce Deegan. Okay. Bruce Deegan was the illustrator behind the Magic School Bus book series.
Oh, wow.
So the illustrations in Magic School Bus books, he passed away. I just read that this morning. So Magic School Bus, very successful cartoon. Remind the listenership, there are a million Stu Stone episodes. Somebody said, hey, they heard you on Humble and Fred, and they went to me on Blue Sky and said, which episode of Toronto Mike do I go to get the origin story of Stu Stone? And I sent them to the first visit when Cam Gordon said, you need to sit down with my old high school buddy, Stu Stone. I'm like, I would love to sit down with Stu Stone. That was the day Hebsy is on Sports was being recorded, and you and Hebsy.
Yeah, we crossed
do you remember
paths.
that moment?
Sure, we crossed streams.
What a moment. So just remind the listenership, who were you in Magic School Bus? Which version of Magic School Bus? Give us a little taste of that.
Before we do that, I'm just looking at Dan Hennessy's.
Now that you gave him all the credit for all the shows he didn't do,
what
did he do?
He did those shows. He just didn't do the voice of Beetlejuice. I remembered that wrong. But yeah,
it was a long time ago.
Braveheart Lion in the Care Bears.
That's big.
B-Store in My Pet Monster.
That's big.
He was on the Alf Tales show, which I was also on with him.
Oh,
Garbage
wow.
Pail Kids, the Care Bears.
Wow.
RoboCop, Alf, the series I already said. Police Academy, the animated series. Cops, remember Cops, the animated TV series Cops?
Yes, I can see the logo, yeah.
Beetlejuice, Super Mario Brothers cartoon, The Raccoons, Bill and Ted's Adventure, Little Shop of Horrors.
Wait, there was a cartoon for Little Shop of Horrors?
There was.
I did not know that.
And Crash Test Dummies, Dog City, X-Men, Monster Force, etc., etc. This guy's got an incredible resume.
Wow, Dan
He will
Hennessy.
be missed.
Absolutely. And so will Bruce Deegan.
Yes,
he died November 7th, actually. But I just read the news this morning. But he died in Connecticut from cancer, sadly. He was 79 years old, the author and artist.
When Joe Biden was campaigning to be the president of the United States in 2016, didn't he say...
No, he didn't.
2020, my bad. 2020.
Yeah, it was
That's
Hillary
like my
Clinton.
Dan Hennessy memory. He said that he was going to cure cancer. What happened?
It's a work in progress.
I guess so.
Well, we got the good news at TMLX 17.
Yes.
Our favorite.
Thank goodness. I was Ralphie on the Magic School Bus.
That's big. Okay,
Yes.
For a certain generation of people, they must get so excited when they can meet Ralphie from the Magic School
You
Bus.
would think. Now recently I just did some stand-up comedy for the first time in many years.
In Toronto?
Yes.
Really?
I did.
How come you didn't tell me?
I just was
Cam and I would have shown up.
I just wanted to see how it would go.
Throw tomatoes at you. Okay, where was it? Is that Yuck Yucks?
At the comedy bar.
Okay.
And it went pretty well, but some of the references that I was making went over the head of the audience because the audience is really young at these places.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah, so it's I felt holy shit. That was the first time I kind of felt it, where I was making these references that should kill. And they were like, well, what is that?
At TMLX 17, we were making a joke that I needed therapy, and I said, where's Dr. Joyce Brothers when I need her?
Right.
And I realized, okay, that room, it was going to work. Okay, that was a Gen X room or whatever, but that reference isn't going to work with
No.
my 20-year-old daughter's crowd.
No. And so that's what I'm saying, Magic School Bus is starting to maybe even age out.
Wow.
People who are 23 don't know it.
Wow.
People who are it's people who are 30 probably don't know it. Maybe they do. I don't know. But Ralphie from
But those
Magic
who
School
want,
Bus.
I will say this, there is a certain type of person. I think this would include you. It would
Yes.
include me. It would include Cam Gordon. It
Sure.
definitely includes Mark Weisblot. It includes Edward Conroy. There are some of us who, I just did real quick shout out to Gary Topp, who put out a new book, and I moderated this panel at the concert hall on Sunday. So I'm moderating the panel, a lot of great FOTMs in the building. It's called the Red Room. It's part of the concert hall at the Masonic Temple. At
Oh, they
888
reopened that?
Yonge. Yep. It's amazing. So I'm doing this. You have to understand, I couldn't have been at any of these gigs because I was like 4 years old. Like, this is all stuff I missed because of my age. And I'm passionate about, like, bringing the police to the Horseshoe Tavern in the late 70s. And the last Pogo, which was directed by Colin Brunton, and he was there, and this is the thing. So all this stuff I'm passionate about, very interested in it before my time.
But you
so
don't know you don't know the Rizzler.
I don't know the Rizzler, but I know the last Pogo. And I guess this is all to say that there are still curious cats out there who want to know about shit that happened before their time.
I agree with you. And here's another thing. I was playing this like sort of, there's a couple of guys that are younger that work on our crew, we'll just say.
Right.
We'll say that they're like 23, 24.
Yep.
And I play this game with them.
Yeah.
Where I'm with like a friend, like we'll say I'm with you. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Are they going to know who Zach Morris is?
Oh, I like this game.
And you're like, of course they are. And then I'm like, who's Zach Morris? And they're like,
I have no idea.
fucking
Never
clue.
heard that name
And I'm like,
before in my
okay.
life. Yeah.
I'm like, are they going to know? Can they name one character from Beverly Hills 90210? And you'll be like, of course they can.
Yeah.
No.
Right.
Can you name one Nirvana song? No. I'm
That's surprising.
I'm not kidding you, Mike. It's kind of fucking crazy. And I'm going to say it like this.
Yeah.
Because back when we were kids, we knew who the Beatles and the Rolling Stones were.
We
and
watched
Led
the
Zeppelin.
Monkees, for fuck's sake. It was
We
a
watched
monolithic culture.
Gilligan's Island. When MASH came on, we knew it's time to
We knew
fucking change the channel.
I Dream a Genie.
That's what I'm saying. We knew stuff. Like back when we didn't
Beverly
have
Hillbillies?
every single
Right.
answer at our fingertips. How is it that this generation, and I hope you clip this out and post just this, Mike. How is it that this generation has all of the answers at their fingertips, all of the information right when they want it on demand, as soon as they want the answers, and they don't know anything? How? How? We had to go to the library and
Microfiche.
fucking look up who get charged late fees for books we didn't even read. And we still knew every fucking thing that, and if we didn't know, we learned about it.
Right.
They don't know anything. It's crazy. Mike, we used to know everybody's phone number. We knew how to get places. Now, even me, to come to your house, I've been to your house 200 times. I still put in the GPS.
That's true.
I don't know anybody's phone number.
Right.
If I got stranded on a fucking side of the road with no fucking phone anymore, I wouldn't be able to call anybody to help me. I don't know anybody's phone number. Technology has really fucked things up.
Because you don't need to know anything.
You don't need to know anything.
It's at your fingertips.
You don't need to know anything. You can say, get off my lawn all you want, but you know I'm right. You know I'm right. They don't know anything. And they think they know everything. So that's probably how we were too when we were teenagers or whatever. We thought we knew everything.
Now, point, counterpoint, my turn, okay?
Okay.
There always has been a set of people who didn't give a fuck about anything that wasn't in their universe or before their time. They always existed, okay? Because you're talking as Stu Stone, curious cat, passionate about shit that happened before his time. And you're talking to a guy also who wants to talk to Gary Topp about shit he did at the New Yorker way before his time, okay? But the subset has always existed, just like there's always been a subset of people who were very interested in learning about the scene from the 1970s Toronto, or learning about, I don't know, when Bob Dylan went electric and you got the band from Ronnie Hawkins and all that. Like, that group has always existed, and they still exist. Those people that you're talking to, the 23-year-olds who don't know who Zach Morris is, they're not falling in that. And I'm only saying this from experience because I walk 7K every Friday with my firstborn, who's turning 23 years old in January, okay?
Time flies.
Time does fly. And we do this walk, and this walk is like a pop, I should record it. It would be a great episode, a pop culture smorgasbord. And he starts telling me about these deep tracks from Billy Joel, and he starts going in about this shit, you know, and I'm thinking, oh my God.
I'm so proud of him.
I am proud. Well, I'm proud of him, and I realize, he is of that type where he dives into this stuff before his time. He's passionate about it. But he exists today. But you'll find it, a friend of his will be like, who's Nirvana?
Who's Billy Joel?
Who's Billy Joel?
Yeah.
So it's the same as it ever was. It depends which the Talking Heads. Gary's brought the Talking Heads to the the New Yorker.
Is that true?
Yeah, I think that's
Is that
true.
like a Dan
Rob
Hennessy
Pruce,
fact?
Rob Pruce, who was the keyboardist for Spoons,
Sure.
and he just created a new closing theme for Toronto Mike, which I'm going to play in like a half an hour or so. He's on the live stream. Can you confirm for us, Burlington Rob, did the Garys bring the Talking Heads to the New Yorker, or was that later at the Edge or Larry's Hideaway or something? Let us
While
know.
he's waiting for that answer, I want to give you a little anecdote that happened on my way over here.
Okay, good, because I got more questions.
Shout out
for
to
you.
Ridley Funeral Home on this.
Okay.
So I'm sitting in traffic.
Romantic Traffic.
Yeah, shout out to Rob there.
Yeah.
Great song, by the way.
Co-wrote
By
it.
the way, do you know that there's a Spoon song that was the theme for WWF Wrestling?
You clearly don't listen to Toronto Mike because
Okay.
that question was submitted
By me?
during a toast by you
Yeah.
and Bob Willett and Rob Pruce, and we dove into that. And yes,
I want to hear his answer, so can you? I got to find
Okay.
that clip.
find that clip. But also, Rob, while you're telling us if the Garys brought Talking Heads, where they brought them to, because I know they did, just remind us about that story so I can read it to Stu.
Okay,
Go
so
ahead.
meanwhile, I'm in traffic, romantic traffic, on my way, and you know when you know when you can like hear music coming out of someone else's car, like their windows are up, but like their music is so loud that you can
of
like
course.
it's like they're playing the music so loud, and we've all probably are guilty of this at sometimes. That's a great song.
Keep it in the background. during
Okay,
this time.
so I was driving, and I'm like, we're sort of stopped in traffic, and I hear Rod Stewart, "Do You Think I'm Sexy?" playing extremely loud, and it's like I didn't know. Like I'm one of these people that, like from a certain era in music, from like mostly the '80s, I would say, I can hear one beat of the song and know what the song is.
Yep.
It's like I can play Name That Tune and like blow your mind with like if it's a top 20 hit from the 80s, like I know it from the needle drop.
Yes.
And so I could tell. I was like, is that Rod Stewart? And as I get closer, I'm like, where's that coming from? And I look to my right, and I see this guy like jamming in his Cadillac, and he's jamming out.
And it's Rod Stewart.
He's jamming out to like, "Do You Think I'm Sexy?" And as the scene unfolds, I realize that the Cadillac is actually a hearse. And
wow.
and then I realized that like it's like one of those like processions that's like there's cars behind it.
So, like, the sign here I'm pointing to, like,
Yes.
the funeral sign is on
Yes.
the car. They're going to, like,
Yes. They're going to
a cemetery, like Parkland
Yes.
Cemetery or
So
something.
I'm thinking to myself, like, well, wait a minute.
Wow.
Do you think that this guy is just, like, rocking out to songs like he doesn't give a
Wait,
shit that
are
there's
the
a...
windows are up.
Yes.
It's just so loud it's coming out.
Yes.
I think that's his job, is to drive this
he's just-
casket to the gravesite or whatever, and he's listening to his jams.
Or, now, hear me out.
Okay, let me hear it.
Or this is like, somebody's like last request is like, while you're driving me to my final burial place, I want you to play "Do You Think I'm Sexy" by Rod Stewart the whole way.
I like to think that's true.
Yes.
And today, so we're talking, it's almost 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. At 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, Brad Jones, the funeral director at Ridley Funeral Home, is going to be coming down these stairs.
Oh, wow.
He's going to sit right
You're doing
there.
3 shows today?
He's recording an episode of Life's Undertaking.
Oh, great show.
And it is a great show. And I will share that story with him
Please
and
do.
ask him what he thinks. Was that a request by the deceased? Or was that just the guy driving the hearse enjoying his jams? I will find out what he says.
Either way, whoever that was on their way to their final resting
amazing.
place, they were sent in style because Rod Stewart, "Do You Think I'm Sexy?" was blaring.
Okay. Do you remember the Revolting Cocks?
Like
They had a cover. So I remember, because that's fine. Rod Stewart's version was the big smash. But
I do
there
remember
was
what you're talking about. Yes.
Do You Think I'm Sexy
Yes,
cover by
sure.
Revolting Cocks. I used to
Yes.
hear it like on Live to Airs from like, I want to say Chris Shepard would play it or something like that on like 102.1 or whatever, Live to Airs, late 80s and stuff like that. Yeah, Do You Think I'm Sexy by the Revolting Cocks. I think it meant like roosters or whatever. I don't think they're talking about genitalia.
Usually when somebody has the word "cocks" in their title, it's meant in an ironically hilarious way.
Absolutely here. I have breaking news. If there's a listener who can't wait until January 3rd to watch Don't Fuck with Ghosts, 'cause I'm going to ask you in a minute about going to Manitoba. If you don't want to wait for that that evening when Adam Rodness and Stu Stone are going to be taking over Hollywood Suite and they're going to do the premiere, you can actually rent it on Apple TV right now. Did you know that, Stu?
I didn't.
You can go to Apple TV right now and rent Don't Fuck With Ghosts. You can watch it now, and then on January 3rd on Hollywood Suite, you can watch it again, but you'll have like Stu Stone and Adam Rodness will be like doing like bumpers and stuff like that around it.
Yes.
Have you thought of doing like a pop-up video version of Don't Fuck With Ghosts for Hollywood Suite?
I would love that. I would like to do a pop-up video of any movie on Hollywood Suite. That's a great idea.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess you can't call it that because that's probably owned by Viacom or something like that. But totally, I dig that stuff on the screen, just giving me behind-the-scenes stuff. Like, oh, this actor was also in this. And
fun facts.
This guy was a last-minute replacement because whatever got this gig. Like, all the fun of this guy.
Like a director's commentary.
This guy doesn't know who Zach Morris is?
Yeah.
I would fucking love that so much. I would subscribe to Hollywood Suite again just for that.
Yeah, as would I. And I want to bring up one other thing, Mike.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it was this year or last year, but you had Cynthia Dale as a guest on your show.
A couple times.
Well, there was the time when
the first time was via Zoom, and then she came back and did it in the basement.
Okay, well, there was one where I came on and we were talking Heavenly Bodies.
Well, just so you know, she came on Pandemic Friday as a surprise guest.
I remember.
And then you two were reunited.
We reunited on that. That's what it was.
Yeah.
But either way, I remember talking to her about Heavenly Bodies. And she had this sort of disdain for it. And she was sort of like embarrassed by it or whatever. And I was saying to her, you're crazy. Like, people love this movie. And you worked your ass off. And you look so great. And you did so great. And people love it. And it's like there's a whole world out there of people that don't think it's terrible. And they love it. And, like, you should lean into it. And you should go and embrace it and celebrate it. Because it's like, you know, it's the type of movie that, like, you live long enough to see yourself become the hero or the villain. This movie is a hero now.
Right.
Like, you should embrace it. And she was like, nah. Like, you know, she kind of was like, had this negative vibe about it, which is understandable. Like, she went through what she went through to shoot it. But you know what happened, Mike? A couple of weeks ago, they did a screening of Heavenly Bodies in Toronto at the Review Cinema.
Right.
Sold out. Cynthia Dale shows up. She's like loving it.
Were you there?
I was not there, but I heard about it. I should have been there. But apparently it went over like gangbusters, and she got emotional, and she loved it, and she felt great about it. And
I'm glad to hear this.
And so, you know what? We planted that seed.
Yes.
Mike. And now
taking full credit.
And now Cynthia and Heavenly Bodies have reunited. And they're back together again.
I love hearing that story. I wish you were there. That would have been perfect.
I wish I was there too.
Next time you got to be there.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm glad to hear this because I follow Cynthia Dale on social media. I think Instagram is her social media of choice. And I saw that she was throwing out or giving away stuff she had kept, like promotional posters for like Street Legal and stuff. It really felt like for some cathartic reason she was shedding the past.
I don't know why she would do that. You know, I'm not her. And obviously she's a very intelligent...
Wait, you're not Cynthia Dale?
I'm not.
Breaking news.
But, you know, as an outsider looking in, you know, she doesn't even know how loved she is. You know, like, people love her.
Right.
People love this woman.
Right.
And she has so much currency in that she has not spent yet, in my opinion.
And she loves Palma pasta.
Who doesn't?
She's of Italian descent. Cynthia Dale, much like Stu Stone.
Italian.
Phony baloney name.
Ralphie Tonelli on Magic School Bus was an Italian gentleman.
I'll bet you he loves Palma pasta.
Also, I was in a film called, and don't watch this, but it's called Vendetta, not V for Vendetta, just Vendetta. Christopher Walken is in the film as well. And I played Tony Provenzano, also Italian. Back when back when I could do that, back when you could do that. Nowadays,
actually,
of course,
you can still do that.
No, nowadays you got to be Italian. But back then you had to act like you were Italian, and I did a pretty good job. Not in that movie. I was terrible in that movie, but Palma Pasta, they would have loved it there.
The guy, another Thorne-Lee graduate is Hayden Christensen.
Yes. I loved your episode with him. I've told you that before. I did listen to that one.
You ready for this?
Yes.
I've never met Hayden Christensen.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Hayden. My Hayden.
Oh, Hayden Desser.
Yeah, because that's
Sorry,
you said Thornley. Yeah,
Okay, but they're both Thornley guys.
I got my wrong.
Oh yeah,
my
okay,
Hayden's wrong.
The Hayden Desser episode is fucking off the charts.
I love that.
Next level.
You said
He'll be back.
Thornhill,
Yeah, sorry, I'm sorry. Three up.
Yeah,
Too many
Hayden
Haydens.
Christensen.
But
You're
Hayden
talking
Christensen-
about Anakin Skywalker.
Correct. But he made a movie that gets referenced a lot because I've had on this show people who are in the movie called Little Italy, filmed in Toronto, but not looking anything like our Little Italy. It's some fictionalized Little Italy. Might be the worst movie ever made.
Really?
Just throwing it out there. So Hayden Christensen, who's done some good work and, fellow Thornley graduate. Shout out to Ruth Kapelis.
Yes, I think she probably knew him.
Who else do I know from there? Well, besides Hayden. Well, of course, Noah Mintz.
Yeah, Gian Gameshi.
How's he doing these days?
I don't know.
No contact.
There's some others.
Okay, Alan. Okay, so I'll move on, except to say that I just was connecting these dots from Thornley, and that you mentioned Italy. And okay, so I want to say Palma Pasta is delicious, and thank you, Palma Pasta, for hosting us at TMLX 17 on Saturday. But there is a question from Alan Gold, who was at TMLX 17. In fact, he's a part-time referee. He's an accountant by day and a referee by night.
Like a ref
for hockey.
Oh, I thought for wrestling.
No, or maybe I don't know.
Okay.
Alan, do you do that? So, hey ref, we call him. Because of Hey Ref. He has a question for you, Stu Stone. He says, how come a Hall of Famer like Stu Stone never seems to be available for TMLX events? We need more Thornhillers at TMLX. What do you want to say to Alan Gold, also known as Hey Ref?
Hey Ref. I've been to a lot of TMLX events. The last two just were scheduled when I can't be in two places at the same time. I've never not come when I've been available to come to a TMLX event. If Mike wants to book it around my schedule, then I'd be there, but he doesn't. He's selfish.
I like to interject, say, Alan, yeah, Stu was out of town. That's why you weren't at that event. But you know who was not out of town and still didn't show up to TMLX 17?
Who?
Cam Gordon.
Oh, he's a prick.
I agree.
But and you could tell him I said that. But yeah, I'd love to go to an event. I love hanging out.
Maybe
with
I'll
the gang.
consult with you before I schedule the next
you
one.
Should.
At
You should.
Great Lakes Brewery.
But you know what? I understand his question is out of love because he just wants.
He just wants to see you.
He wants to see me. He wants a hug. He wants to get some FaceTime in. He wants to eat some Palma Pasta with me, like that time that I was at a TMLX event with Mike Wilner and ate some pasta.
Right.
Right.
Love Wilner. He's on Blue Sky, by the way.
There was another TMLX event where I came where your mother trash talked me to my mother.
Well, in my mom's defense, she thought your mom was Cam's mom.
I could see the confusion.
If she had known she was talking to Stu Stones, and by the way, her criticism, which I find funny in hindsight, is that you and I, before the event, planned to pretend you were late.
Yes.
So this was, which one's the work and shoot? This was a work.
It's a work.
Okay. So we decided that we'll pretend so Cam and I literally said, we'll be pissed off and be like, where the fuck is Stu? We're going live for the finale of Pandemic Friday at Great Lakes Brewery. I can't believe he's late. Meanwhile, you were going to hide, and then you were going to come out like a wrestler. It's fucking, thinking about it was a great idea. But because we were so convincing by pretending fucking Stu, how selfish, this bastard's not here. We got to go at 2:00. He's not here, whatever. My mom says something to your mom thinking it's Cam's mom.
She's like, oh, so unprofessional. What a little prick.
Can you believe he's late? Because she's thinking, oh, my son is aggravated and inconvenienced because of this selfish Stu Stone. It's kind of like a...
She's like, oh, what a selfish son of a bitch.
I don't think she used those words, but something to that effect. And then later she was quite embarrassed to learn she was talking to your mom, who, by the way, is lovely. I love your mom.
I do too.
I saw her as well at the movie premiere.
She saw you as well.
Love seeing her.
She loves seeing you. She's a big Toronto Mike fan.
I'm giving you one more gift, and then I still have lots of ground to cover. I'm checking the clock. We're good.
I think you said you had till 2, right?
Well, 2:00 is when I record with the wonderful people at Esri, who I hope are... Can I get this? This is Monica. This is quick.
Please.
Hold on.
Is that a speakerphone get?
Hello? Hi.
This is rare. We got Toronto Mike taking a call from his wife live on the show.
Jarvis's coach is asking if 9 to 10 or 4 to 5 works better.
Sounds like there's some planning going on involving Jarvis.
The 9 to 10, he's got a hockey game at 10:00.
Scheduling conflict. Jarvis is like the Stu Stone of the Boone family. Very busy.
Stu Stone is here, by the way. Can I put you on speakerphone for a second? Okay. So don't say anything racist, okay? Hold on here. Not that you've ever said anything racist. Okay, so what's the time options for Saturday?
9 to 10 or 4 to 5.
What is the activity?
A viewing his competitive soccer team is going to review tape from their last loss.
Really?
And the location is Dundas.
They think they're fucking professional.
They're watching tape?
Yeah, the coach wants to sit down and watch the video and discuss it with them. So, babe, he's got a 1:00 game at Lambton Arena, and then
You're
at
really making it easy
Mimico Arena
for people to go out
Arena.
and see
Well,
Jarvis.
it's okay. Jarvis is great. He's great at soccer, not as great at hockey. But 3:15 at Mimico Arena. So he can be at a 10:00 viewing party as long as, I like my...
Meanwhile, 12:36. I will address what you're
where is
saying
it
in the
gonna be?
chat, by the way, about heavenly bodies. So just stay tuned. As soon as Mike's done taking personal calls on my
You don't have
time.
to give the exact date because you are being recorded. here, but-
Hopefully Liz Brio's listening to this and seeing the disrespect that's happening right now. Like, if I was Gino Vanelli, would he have
focused on
taken this
what?
call?
I'm getting my coffee because I have a 1:00 and I need my coffee before that. The location
you know.
is like Runnymede and Dundas.
Oh, it's near where Joe's dad was like a barber there.
They're just having like
Ralph's
a
barbershop.
straight up
I actually,
personal
so here's the
side
deal.
conversation
What's the second
now.
option?
4 to 5.
So he's got practice till 4:15. So he's got to do the 9:00. You can't make the 4:00.
But does he have to do practice?
No,
He doesn't have to do anything.
he's not going to learn anything anyway.
Under preference for 9:00.
Okay.
Okay.
He better win a World Cup. He promised me 4 World Cups for Canada. He better win them because there's a lot of... Okay, love you, bye.
But
You know,
So I really apologize. That's unprofessional. But Alan Cross did that to me early in the Toronto Mike era, and I realized, why can't I? But I knew that usually that means one of the kids is sick. Like that means, go pick up this kid. She's sick or whatever, or he's sick.
how would you even do that on your bicycle?
It's not very many blocks away to the school to pick up these kids. Like, yeah, I would walk them home if they were unwell.
Is there like a sidecar? Do you have a sidecar?
Well, my 8-year-old biked to school today.
Really?
Yeah, we biked in the...
Chip off the old block.
It wasn't very sunny. Okay, we got to get back on track. What's Mark Weisblatt asking?
He's dropping gems on
Well, that's why he's in the Hall of Fame.
about heavenly bodies, like as if we we need to address.
Oh, Little Italy was a telefilm-funded effort for something Canadian that could sell in other markets. It was a recipe for disaster. It was somewhat deliberately terrible. I don't know about that. Heavenly Bodies came after the tax shelter era of Canadian movies that gave us Meatballs and Porky's. Fucking love those movies. City TV, late grade movies. I got to play the daily clip in a minute. So it had American money involved, including Playboy Enterprises.
That is
yeah,
true.
he's dropping science with defiance.
Now there was a Playboy cut of Heavenly Bodies, and I'm sure that's come up maybe when you spoke to Cynthia, or maybe
Did
one
she
of
do
the
a
many-
topless scene?
Maybe I don't remember if she did or if she had a double or whatever. But there's like sex scenes. It's like it's more of like a Skinamax kind of thing. There's like two.
Do you have a copy of this?
I probably do somewhere, but there was like 2 scenes that are like racier, we'll say.
Well, here, let's do this.
The following program contains adult themes,
yeah.
nudity, and coarse language. Viewer and parental discretion is advised.
Exactly. So that is true. And so imagine young Stu in the 80s on this set where there's, this type of chicanery going on.
Orgies discussions.
Yeah. So, I mean, I definitely grew up very fast, Mike.
But they wouldn't let you see nudity.
Mike, there was another
The
show.
80s was a special time.
There was a show. I remember a show that I was on. I can't remember the title, but like I'm sure
You
it's
saw
come
boobs, I
it's-
can tell.
Yes.
And how you're like what, 4 or 5 years old? What are you?
Probably like 6 or 7.
Wow.
And there was like, that kind of stuff going on.
Yeah, times have changed. Wow.
That wouldn't happen now, Mike.
No.
These were glorious days.
That would be scandalous today. I want to give you a gift. This is courtesy of Moneris. It's a wireless speaker. I'm handing it to Stu Stone right now.
Oh, wow.
The most recent guest of Toronto Mike before your visit today was yesterday when the cuddly one, Al Grego, dropped by to kick out jams related to Season 7 of Yes, We Are Open. This happened yesterday. Oh, here's a question for you. You're a proud Jewish man. That's me setting the table here.
Sure.
Yes. Okay. Now, the question is, at TMLX 17, Ty the Christmas guy was there, and he gave everybody these holiday-themed, Christmas-themed toys, and everybody loved them. My kids loved them and everything. But he went on the mic and talked about how he also had Hanukkah toys. Okay? So he had, and then he put it all out on display for everybody to grab it, and then he sheepishly had to make an announcement that he had forgot the Hanukkah toys at home. And Peter Gross was on the microphone, and Peter Gross, also proud Jewish man, said, "That's anti-Semitic." Do you think this forgetting the Hanukkah toys,
No,
was that a
come on.
complete accident? Is there any disrespect involved
I don't
there?
think there's any disrespect meant there at all.
All right. But he is Ty the Christmas guy who, I'm just joking, Ty. Of
He's
course.
not like Hank the Hanukkah
Ty
guy.
Schwartz.
You know, it's like Ty the Christmas
It's
guy.
true. We do call him Ty the Christmas guy. He was the most recent guest on Al Grego's excellent podcast from Menaris called Yes, We Are
And I'm
Open.
sure he brought Hanukkah toys there.
I'm sure Al Grego's buried in Hanukkah toys. But he did say, if you want a Hanukkah toy, go to the Retro Festive store in Oakville and just say you were at TMLX 17, and he would give you a Hanukkah toy free of charge.
I wonder what a Hanukkah toy even is.
It's going to be like a baby Yoda with like a dreidel, maybe. Like,
Does that exist?
Something. I think it's something like that.
It's very niche marketing right there, but I like it. I'll take it.
Because my kid got a baby Yoda with like a Santa hat on. So I think
You
that's-
really think there's a baby Yoda with a dreidel? I'd like to see that.
maybe that's what we need to do. Can somebody send me a picture maybe of
Yes.
the Hanukkah toys?
Wiseblot is now saying that he figured out there's a show with sex scenes that Stu was in called Loving Friends and Perfect Couples. Now, that is true. There's another one that I remember that was called Office Girls or something like that. There was another one. There was a bunch of them. They were making these types of movies in Toronto in the 80s.
Right.
You know,
Well, for late great movies.
yeah, they were making these types of movies.
But what's it like when you're that age? Like, are you even aware that are you just like, are you aware you're seeing something like, oh, naughty? Like, oh, I see a woman's breasts? Or is it just like you're too young to even
It's kind of like
understand?
normal. It's like, you know, I'm thinking back and I can't even imagine the situations I would have been in. Like, think of the drug use that was probably going on these sets too. Like, you know, we're talking about the cocaine.
Speaking of
80s.
Peter Gross.
Yeah. So it's like, who even knows what the fuck was being said or gone on around me? Who knows what I saw? I have no idea.
You've lived a life. But you're a survivor because we hear stories of child stars, and you were absolutely a child star. We hear stories of child stars who, like, they get hooked on drugs. Some of them
Yeah.
die young. Some of them tragic circumstances. There's some sad stories out there, but you seem to be very well adjusted. You're still making creative content that's being consumed by the masses. Like, you are a survivor of the child star syndrome. Is that because you had a great mom?
Maybe.
Okay, because that helps.
I mean, listen, maybe I also just put out a great persona that I'm well adjusted and I survived. That might be it also.
How's your fitness journey going?
It's going very well. Mike, thanks for asking.
Because you look good.
Thank you, man. I mean, I feel like I could
Lift up your shirt for me.
I feel like I could be plateauing, maybe, as they say in the workout world, where it's like this. I'm doing the same workout all the time, and maybe I need to switch it up. But I'm very much a
Cross-training.
creature of habit.
Yeah.
And
Me too, buddy.
I do like doing what once I find something, I just kind of like, maybe it's ADHD or what do you call that?
Whatever it is,
When
we're
you're
both
like
afflicted
obsessive
with it.
OCD.
OCD?
Maybe I'm OCD or something. Because like, I'm just a creature of habit.
I'm exactly the
But
same
but
way.
the habit of getting a sweat on is a great habit to have. And you can still eat. I mean, I haven't changed my diet really. I haven't changed my sleep patterns. I haven't changed my social, what I'll do socially to unwind. But I do have exercise in my routine now pretty regularly. There's times, I am a human being, Mike. There's times when I'll go and I'll miss a bunch of days, maybe a week,
right.
but then I'll get back at it. But I do think that like there is this like sweet spot, a 23-minute sweet spot where you really start to sweat if you're working out properly, doing whatever it is you're doing. And like that is a very gratifying feeling that like you feel like, okay, I'm doing something good.
You got the endorphins
Yeah.
being released.
I like it a lot.
Dopamine addictions.
Yeah.
That's what we have now. I have a question because you're mid-40s now,
Yes,
depending on your source.
depending on your source.
You're like the Andy Kim of child actors. Like, I made the joke of Andy Kim just like last week, and it's like it depends on your source how old Andy Kim is, and it depends on your source how old Stu Stone is. But I happen to know on good authority you were born in the 70s. Okay?
Yes.
Late 70s. But what happens with a lot of guys your age and my age, because we're similar vintage, is the belly. We'll call it a shout out to Great Lakes Brewery. We'll call it the beer belly. That's where the guys, they start growing those kegs, man. Those keggers there, and that's really where the danger is. I was reading a new study about where they're like that's really dangerous for your heart, for your longevity of your life, is when you grow that big belly. there's no sign of a belly on you. So
well,
you're ahead of the game.
I've definitely now you say that, and I appreciate that. But like, I am a human being, and when I look in the mirror, I see bellies, and I see like when you look in the
That's
mirror,
a mental illness.
you probably see someone who's just like a beautiful man because you're just like a 10 out of 10.
No, I think, oh, who's this old guy I'm looking at?
You know what I'm saying? So everybody sees things. It's like if you have a pimple, and you're like, oh my god, I have this. Like nobody sees it. You see it. That's the first thing you see when you look in the mirror.
You see your
but
flaws.
like, you can go out and have a fucking pimple. Like nobody really cares. But that's what it is. It's
So
like,
when you look in the mirror, you think,
it depends
I
on
need
the
to
mirror.
shed some beef.
Some mirrors,
Yeah.
it's really weird, Mike.
Yeah.
It's like there's certain mirrors where like I feel like,
Wow.
I can see like definition here. I can see progress. And then there's other mirrors where it's like, who's that fucking jerk? So it's like it depends. I want to figure out how to get that perfect mirror. I would love to look in that perfect mirror.
You say that, and I think about Man in the Mirror, and that's what I think about. Great
yeah.
Michael Jackson song.
Yeah. Now, has this been played on your show before?
Can't remember. It's only your 101st visit or something like that. I wish Tyler was on the live
Can you
stream.
guys name this song if you're listening live? This is a very popular song, and it's a mind blow, too.
I like what you're doing here, Stu, because you're setting everyone up to feel silly. Because everybody is screaming the name Thriller right now. I want to hear the story of why this is not Thriller by Michael Jackson, but it sounds like it's Thriller by Michael Jackson. But I do have a link to the retro festive Hanukkah toys, and I'm looking. There is absolutely like I gotta send you this link. Like, there's what the hell am I looking at here? Oh, God, I should get my freaking glasses. But it does look like Donald Duck has a dreidel. Like Donald Duck's got a dreidel. It looks like Stitch from Lilo and Stitch has some
It's gonna be hot sellers,
Hanukkah
Mike.
gear.
There's some hot sellers.
There's a lot of Hanukkah stuff going on at Retro Festive. It's not just about
I
Christmas.
understand why why these are very special Hanukkah gifts, because if you go to the store and you drop TMLX, you get it for free. So
Free,
he
yeah,
understands
free
who he's
charge.
marketing towards.
So everyone should do that, whether you're at TMLX 17 or not. 'Cause
Yeah,
how
you
are they
just
gonna
want
know?
free stuff.
Right.
That's the Hanukkah crowd.
Especially if you're in Oakville, go to Retro
Yeah.
Festive, say you were there, and you want your Hanukkah gift.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me, do you know the story, Starlight?
I mean, this is pretty fucking mind-blowing to me. Like, in a
Okay.
world where, like, AI exists and people are making, like, fake songs, and you're like, is that real? This is real.
This is real.
So before the song was Thriller, it was Starlight.
So Quincy Jones probably produced this.
This is the song. This is Starlight. And then it was like, wait a minute,
So
guys.
this is a demo?
This was the song as it was originally written
Yeah,
and
okay.
recorded.
Okay.
And obviously, it didn't really attract anybody.
Was it released as Starlight?
I think it was supposed to be on a soundtrack.
Okay.
I'm going to have to dig in here.
All right, because obviously it was Off the Wall and then Thriller, and
Yes.
neither has Starlight on it.
So you know the band Heatwave? Have you
Right.
heard of the band Heatwave? You should look them up.
The Heatwave Festival was a disaster.
Can you pull up some Heatwave
on
Heatwave?
YouTube? Okay.
Yeah, try to find a Heatwave the band. I want you to see something here, okay? Because it's going to blow your mind. It's going to change the way you think about Michael Jackson, that's for sure.
Okay. Heatwave band. Okay, I have some
Okay,
stuff
so-
here. How about Boogie Nights or
Yeah,
something like that?
sure. Play that.
Okay, stand by. We're going to get this right here.
Starlight. Can you imagine? It's like Back to the Future, like Marty changed one thing and now it's Starlight. This is Heatwave? Which song are you saying?
Give it a moment.
Okay.
It's Boogie Nights.
Okay, great. Yeah, this is going to prove my point. So I want you to listen to this song and then tell me what you think of, okay? once it starts.
1977. You were in diapers.
What does that sound like to you?
Thriller? Blame it on the boogie?
Off the Wall.
Absolutely.
Rod Temperton, who's the gentleman from this band, ends up getting poached by Michael and Quincy to write the Off the Wall album with them. He writes Starlight. That's one of the songs that they collaborate on. And imagine this, as good as Billie Jean is, okay? As good as Human Nature was, which was penned by members of Toto, we've established.
Right.
As good as, the Girl Is Mine with Paul McCartney, if you like that song. PYT, Beat It.
Beat It, yeah.
Specifically, though, as good as Billie Jean is, often credited as the greatest pop song ever made.
Yeah.
They still didn't have like a title track that they were confident with. The album's not called Michael Jackson Billie Jean. The album's called Michael Jackson Thriller. Now, the song Thriller wasn't even Thriller. So for the idea hey, there's something here. Somebody had to have heard Starlight and said, like, wait a minute, we can save this. We can save this. And save it they did. It's like, back then, and we've established this when we were doing, and I'm just riffing here, Mike. I don't have stats in front of me or anything like that.
Right.
But back then when we were mind-blowing, artists like Prince and the Pointer Sisters we talked about, where they gave it several kicks at the can of the same song. They refused to give up. And eventually another artist maybe took it and then the song was a hit. This is an instance where Michael Jackson had this song, Starlight, that just was not connecting on any level. And all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, why don't we tweak it and make it about, a scary horror kind of vibe, Thriller. They get Vincent Price.
Which is amazing.
They call it Thriller. The album is now called Thriller. The greatest music video ever made is now called Thriller.
John Landis.
John Landis, director of Animal House, is also the director of the Thriller
American
video.
Werewolf in London.
Yes, but Animal House, you don't really think about. The Animal House guy did Thriller.
Right.
When you watch Hollywood Suite, though, on January 3rd, you will learn this fun fact.
Wow,
it's part of one of my wraparounds.
This is exciting to me.
It's just it's a wild story there. So Starlight is actually the original song that Thriller ended up becoming.
I love it. You bring the heat. You bring the heat wave, if you will.
Yeah.
I envision a future where Hollywood Suite is a sponsor of Toronto Mike, and there will be an evening where Stu Stone, Cam Gordon, and Toronto Mike take over
Wouldn't
the
that be
airwaves.
something?
Can you imagine? And then another night, let's bring in Bob Willett and Rob Bruce.
I see Bob, by the way, is
on Indy 88.
He's on Indy 88. That's fantastic.
He did 11
news.
days in a row. I was with him on Monday, and that man looks happy because he's back.
Just the other morning,
Yeah.
I was sipping on your honey, and I would never say it, but it tasted kind of funny. I opened up the window, try to let a little light in, cover your face, 'cause you don't want it on your thick skin. Oh, this ain't even worth my day. No, this ain't even worth my day. How could you ever want to let me down, baby? It ain't right.
I want you to know about this band, Mike. They're a three-piece band called Permilla.
Permilla.
Permilla. Permilla. They have an Instagram. You're listening to the lead singer, Nicole, who also has her own Instagram page. She is a prodigy on guitar, although it's not showcased necessarily on this beautiful track here. She's a beautiful songwriter along with Miles and her brother Joe. It's a three-piece from Niagara Falls.
Permilla.
They are a three-piece startup outfit out of Niagara Falls that I'm now working with. I've been working with them for a while, helping them sort of, develop their sound and their persona and whatever it is that's going on. I would suggest you give them a follow. Nicole and Permilla, they all have accounts on Instagram.
Why don't you come into the Toronto Mike studio with Permilla?
That would be amazing.
You could be like Colonel Tom Parker.
Yeah, they would kill it here too. But, it's maybe something that Bob Willett can sneak on Indy 88.
We've had this chat.
He can't.
Zero influence over the what he plays. He has a lot of influence over what he says. He could shout out Pramila, and he can talk about different things and not get in trouble. But he has zero influence over what he gets to
Well, I'm
play.
telling you, this band is something special. This woman that's singing here, Nicole, is a prodigy on guitar, and I'm
You need
telling
Ian
you.
March. So you need Bob to introduce you to Ian March, who I believe does have influence over what gets
Well,
played
then
on
I need you to
88.
make. Can you set that up?
Yeah, I'm the connector.
Because-
That's why you got a call from Gene Simmons or
Yes,
something like that.
That's true. Connect that. I'd love to see some big things happen for these three. They're in their early phase of their career, but I'm telling you, when you see this girl play guitar, it's like seeing like the reincarnation of Stevie Ray Vaughan or something like that. She is magical.
Okay.
And they're called Pramila.
I'm intrigued.
And, they have an Instagram.
Would they play live in the basement?
I don't. Maybe at like a TMLX event, but maybe they're not really an acoustic kind of act.
Okay.
They're more of a hard rock, Led Zeppelin kind of Jimi Hendrix.
Okay.
That's not reflective of this song that I played you. This is their new single, which is a little bit more of a chill track. But
Pramila. Okay.
we are Pramila is their Instagram for the band, and yeah, you're gonna want to do some research there. Follow Nicole on her page as well, and tell them Stu sent you.
Now, Midtown Gord, we already asked off the top if you had seen the Yacht Rock doc, and you have it on your
I haven't
list.
yet,
And,
yeah.
Because I will be interested next time I talk to you to find out what you thought, because I also will see this. I haven't seen it either. But Midtown Gord just wants to know what you thought of it, but we'll find out Midtown next time.
I will tell you, though, that I've been ahead of the curve on all things that Bill Simmons is doing. I mean, he did...
Wait, but is Bill Simmons, he's not involved in the Yacht Rock doc.
Is he not?
I don't think so. But I mean, it's an HBO thing. I don't know if Bill Simmons was involved. He has... He's got. I don't know.
think you're
you tell
wrong.
me. I could be wrong. You know, I've been wrong
Yeah,
before.
you're wrong.
Okay. So what's his role there? Like a producer of some sort?
Yes.
Okay, I did not know that.
Maybe
I didn't-
not.
I didn't know he
it's-
was tied to it.
It says that it's him,
Okay.
Bill Simmons.
Well,
Anyway,
you would know. You would know.
so he does. You know, I was doing Dark Side of the Ring. Then he does the Vince McMahon doc on Netflix.
Right.
I was doing Yacht Rock celebration episodes
Yeah.
of Toronto Mike
Very
5
popular,
years ago.
by the way.
And here he is doing a Yacht Rock series.
Interesting.
So maybe next we'll see what he ends up doing next.
Well, you know how you were.
I'm ahead of the curve, Mike.
You're ahead of the always. You the hearse was playing the Rod Stewart full blast, and I can tell you there were many a times when you would be driving to Pandemic Friday recordings, which we did every week for 76 weeks, which is mind blowing when I think about it. But we did that. We did that, Stu.
We did.
And I would hear Michael McDonald's voice coming out of your car as you came down the street. So you're ahead of that curve now. Because there's not a lot of time left, I want to ask you about filming Don't Fuck with Ghosts.
Yes.
Because you went to Winnipeg or Selkirk. I want to hear from you, but why do you go to Manitoba? Because you went there last time. And just give me a little vibe. And while you tell me about filming Don't Fuck with Ghosts in Manitoba, I want to know how Kevin Hart is involved in all this. Like, have you met Kevin? How is he helping you?
So there's a lot of questions there. So
I'll go for a bike ride. I'll be back in
Okay.
25 minutes.
So we did the movie Faking a Murderer, which you know.
Yes. But that was filmed here.
Yes. So that movie, which is also available on Hollywood Suite.
And that has Great Lakes beer cans in it.
It sure does. You know, that's a crazy thing. Since you've met me, I've made like 4 movies. And Dark Side of the Ring.
Right.
That's
By the way,
like,
Joe Louis was at TMLX 17, and he was talking about how he lives on Kirby Road.
Yeah.
And he get people coming,
Yeah,
especially
yeah,
at
yeah.
Halloween time, okay?
Yeah.
And some Amazon driver came and took a whiz on his driveway.
Wow.
And he wants to know if you had anything to do with
I
that.
did.
Was it you?
That was me. I ordered that. I ordered some fresh pea from Amazon, and then it was like Prime, so it was delivered same day.
All right, back to your Don't
so
Fuck with Ghosts.
Don't Fuck with Ghosts gets in the hands of a gentleman by the name of Kevin Healy,
Healy.
who is a industry heavyweight. He has created such shows as Scare Tactics, How We Do It, that Howie Mandel show. I mean, he's a hidden camera kind of guy and a prank guy. So he sees the movie and he gets it, and he loves it. And we take a meeting with him, and it turns out that he is the head of production for Kevin Hart's studio, Heartbeat.
Wow.
And he wanted to do a deal with us to do a Faking a Murder television series where Adam and I each week would be solving a new sort of faux crime with an unsuspecting assistant, which that show is, by the way, still in development.
Well, that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, we've actually modified it to make it more like, and I'll tell you off air because I know I don't want to I don't want to give up the goods on this, but anyway, we were set to do a show like that, and then the strike happens. The writers strike first, and then the actors went on strike, and basically halted production and halted networks from buying shows. It really like put a damper in everything. And during that, we still wanted to make the movie Don't Fuck with Ghosts. So we said to them like, hey, we're going to do this Don't Fuck with Ghosts movie. Do you guys want to get involved? And they were like, absolutely. So Kevin Hart's company is acted as one of the producers of the film. When we shot the movie, they had notes and feedback.
Oh.
And the release of the film is being handled by them in the United States at the moment.
So does Hollywood Suite, that's a Canadian thing, distribution, and then Kevin Hart's company handles American?
Well, Hollywood Suite's a broadcaster. So
but that's like a distribution channel.
Our distributor originally was the company called Level Film for the movie.
So you have so much to learn about this.
So Hollywood Suite was our broadcaster.
Okay.
And in order to survive in Canada, you need to get a broadcast license in order to qualify for a tax credit. And tax credits, or you need to have you need a distributor that's going to guarantee your movie's going to play in the theater. You need to show the government that this thing that you're making is not just for fun. It's going to be commercially available.
It's all making sense now.
So as long as you're making something that's going to be commercially available, then you can qualify and be a part of the subsidies that are out there for.
And that's where Manitoba comes in.
That's where Manitoba comes in. Manitoba aggressively is trying to get business there, and they're smart. But it is not a 365-day place that you can shoot, in my opinion. And I'm probably wrong because I'm wrong about a lot of things because people do live there. But it is so fucking cold that like you wouldn't want to go there from December to March, and then it's like mosquito season, and there's a window where I'll go there.
3-week period where it's good for stew.
Yes, there's a window where I'll go there. Like unlike TMLX, like they could, my schedule does matter on these things.
Like today in Toronto, it's kind of a cold day, right? It's blowing wind and it's below zero.
This would be like a warm, beautiful day.
Gotcha.
When we were filming Don't Fuck with Ghosts, just to put it in context, it was in October and it was full blown winter there.
Wow.
Like 7 inches of snow, like white out on the way to work, full blown winter.
Right.
So, yeah, they're trying to get business over there, and I would say that like they'll probably have a lot more success as more studios show up there, indoor facilities, which I'm sure somebody's already there investing in that, licking their chops.
But can you be specific? Like, so let's say you go over there and use round numbers because we're stupid. But let's say you're going to spend, I'm going to make up numbers. Like you're going to spend $20,000, I don't know, on something to make this movie.
Well, then you're going to fail. That's not enough.
I know.
So raise your number.
100,000. I just need round numbers.
Okay, so let's just say $100,000.
Okay, $100,000. What kind of tax rebate or what kind of cash comes back?
If you spend $100,000 on labor,
yeah.
So people who are in Manitoba or deemed to be local to Manitoba, which is like as long as you're paying the tax in Manitoba,
okay,
they will give you 60 at a minimum 60 cents on the dollar for your spend.
So you'll be out of pocket $40K.
$40K, and
Good math.
Yeah, and so now. Imagine I'm American on top of that, and I'm bringing my American dollar here, and my $100,000 is now worth $135,000 Canadian, plus I'm getting a tax. It's like the movie's almost free at that point. So it really makes fiscal sense to shoot in Manitoba if you're me. I'm an independent filmmaker.
Right.
Now, if I'm a major studio, maybe I'll go to Winnipeg, Manitoba, but maybe I'm just going to stick to Toronto. Well,
maybe Tom Hanks doesn't want to go to Winnipeg.
That's what I'm saying.
So you just need Tony Napo to go to Winnipeg.
Well, Tony Napo, God bless him. Yes, he'll come to Winnipeg every single time. The local sort of celebrity out in Winnipeg is, the guys from like Kids in the Hall type guys are out there. But that's it. As far as the talent pool,
Fred Penner's out there.
There's local talent out there that I've definitely encountered, and I love them. And then there's like local crew. Now, how many crew could be out there, Mike? Probably, once I'm out there, I'm ending up with like the 4th or 5th down on the list in every position here.
Right.
So for me, I lean into that because I put my crew on camera. I'm fucking with my crew when I'm there shooting Don't Fuck with Ghosts. Like they think we're looking for ghosts. So I'm happy to have this kid Kevin Bacon, who's the real Kevin Bacon. This,
Right.
spoiler. I'm happy though to have these guys come and be a part of the thing because they do
You
a
should
good
put
job.
that on the poster.
They do
starring Kevin Bacon.
Exactly. They do a good job. They try. They want to be there. They're so excited that something that's not a Hallmark movie is they're filming.
Okay, so I've seen this movie. Yeah, I don't mean to rush you. Okay, so we got great tax incentives. That's why you're going to Winnipeg. And
Yes.
Or I heard Selkirk. I heard this on Humboldt.
Selkirk, I drove it. Yeah, so if you go an extra hour, like even in Toronto, if you
Yeah.
drive 150 kilometers from the city, there's an extra bump on the tax credit. It works the same way in
Wow.
Winnipeg.
Maybe you go to Antarctica and you film with YYZ Gord and Tom, who both were at your movie premiere for Don't Fuck with Ghosts, by the way. Probably they pay you to make the movie. Okay, so can you just share with me, because I've seen it, it's like I call it a mockumentary. Is that a proper term for a movie like this?
No.
No? Okay,
No.
tell me where it's not a mockumentary.
I don't think it is a mockumentary. I would call this a hybrid movie or a metaphysical comedy is what Adam calls it.
Okay.
But this is a hybrid, a true hybrid, because a mockumentary, everybody's an actor, right? When you watch,
No, good point.
When you watch Spinal Tap, everybody's an actor.
Right. Right.
When you watch a mockumentary, it's
Right.
just like a style of shooting a scripted movie.
So can you share, again, I've seen it, so like obviously I mentioned Tony Napo, so you do have some people,
It's
and
like
that
fake.
skinny guy with
This
who
is
was
a s-
in Faking a Murder. There are certain people I recognize, oh, that's a paid actor.
Yes.
But the overwhelming majority of people that we see in Don't Fuck with Ghosts are not actors.
Real people.
Real people.
Yes.
So this is all really real, and then you have a certain plot lines that get driven by these actors like Tony Napo.
Real people that don't realize that they're even with actors. These are real people. And, and I've said this before, probably to you, but like the difference, listen, you watch Borat, right?
Yeah.
The first Borat movie,
Right.
when it first came out, everyone was blown away by it, myself included. It was just like, holy shit, you got to see this, right?
Right.
But when you're watching Borat, Mike, you're watching a guy playing a character and you're in on it because you're like, oh, he's fucking with these people. This is amazing. Like, they don't realize that that's really Sacha Baron Cohen and he's pretending to be Borat. This is hilarious.
Right.
And he's going and playing this character in the real world. But when you watch our movie and you don't know who we are, which most people, let's face it, don't know who we are,
Right.
you don't know that you're watching. This could be real because we're not playing a character.
Right.
And then the people that we interact with are not really playing characters. Yes, Tony Napo is, but like 71 other people are not playing characters. So it gives this our movies are professional wrestling where there is a magic behind it where it's like, okay, I know this isn't real, but that was real.
So let's say you film something with a non-actor who thinks it's real,
Yes.
and it's great, and then I'm assuming they have to sign a release of some sort.
Of course.
Right. So what happens if the person doesn't want to sign their release? You
Well,
blur
they-
out the face, or
no,
you just
they-
don't use it?
Well, you'd blur the face depending on that
Right.
situation, but
Right.
but mostly
They
people
want
are
to be in the
people
movie.
are signing releases before I even roll camera. I'm not stupid, Mike.
Okay.
I mean, I've been in the
See, I'm learning so much.
I'll tell you what. Here's a
Yeah.
little inside baseball for you.
Yeah.
When I did the movie Jack of All Trades,
Yeah, which
is
was
a
great.
legit documentary. That is-
Right.
that's an actual documentary.
Jose Canseco's in that.
Yes. When I was going to meet my father for the first time in the movie,
Jack Eisenstein.
yes. Before I went into the room to see him, to do that interview, to do that encounter, whatever you want to call it,
Mm-hmm.
I did not go in that room until he signed a release. Because I did not want to go there and put myself through all of that and then have him be like, fuck that.
You can't use this footage.
Yeah.
Right.
So even my own dad,
Wow. Oh, that's smart.
you got to get everybody to sign beforehand. So that's like some film. If someone's going to be on your show, you get them to sign first. When I was working for Chris Angel,
Mhm.
before they even got to Chris to do the magic trick, they signed. Now, if we're just doing man on the street type of stuff and I just meet someone randomly on the street, which also happens in Don't F with Ghosts, and they talk to us and they engage with us, then they need to sign something. And if they won't sign it, then we got to blur their face. Yes. Which I'm okay doing too, because like these are things that make the experience more real
Right.
for the viewing audience. If you see a blurred face, that's what Rodness, my partner, we do argue a lot about creative, but there's certain things that he's right about, and this is one of them. He loves to blur shit, and I think it's a pain in the ass. But we spend fucking money, man. You wouldn't believe it.
You're blurring people who sign the release.
Blurring license plates, blurring people, blurring signs that legal's not asking us to do
Right.
because it makes the experience more real.
No, I totally get that.
Yeah.
So what? Now that you say that, so you're equal partners in 7 films.
Yes.
You and your brother-in-law, Adam, who happens to be the same height.
Correct.
Okay. What is the typically, do you guys easily get on the same page creatively, or is there like an example of where he likes to do something you don't like to do, or you want to do something he's not into? Like, is there a glaring delta between your two philosophies when it comes to creative?
Definitely. It is glaring.
Because I've never had Adam Rodness on Toronto
You
Mike.
should. I don't know why you're avoiding it.
Well, bring him over when you
should
bring
have
over,
him by himself and let him talk shit. You know, let's see what he says.
I would do that.
I'm curious what he would say.
I see him at
here.
all these Hollywood Suite events.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably got stories.
Okay.
But I'll say that like the thing about Adam and I is that like generally speaking, we share a sense of humor, but I think like our rapport is the chemistry, as they say. That took years, but we're such, we know each other so well. I know what he's going to say and he knows what I'm going to do. But creatively, I would say that we gel. 50% of it is us just gelling perfectly. And then there's like the 25 and 25, that's where we don't agree at all. And like he thinks something's funny that I don't, or he thinks that it should be a certain plot point that I don't, or a certain song should be here, a certain edit should be that way. And I am completely on the opposite side of him. Now, we have a system where we end up just trying it. And, you also, it's like marriage, Mike. You got to pick your battles. I have to pick my battles because I have notes as a director or whatever. I have notes not only coming from my partner, but I have notes coming from
Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart's company, Hollywood Suite, our Ira Levy, our executive producer, our investors are watching the cuts. Everybody's got fucking something to say. So I really have to pick my spots. And so maybe one day I'll be able to make a movie where it's like everything I want.
Can I quickly drop a fun fact about Ira Levy here?
Sure.
Okay, so Ira Levy was behind Mary Jo Eustace's show, What's for Dinner?
Really?
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Now, the funny story here is, so I'll do this very quickly with nothing but kindness and respect for a wonderful person named Mary Jo Eustace, okay? So Mary Jo Eustace comes into my life, but she wants to do a show with her ex-husband, Dean McDermott,
Yep.
okay? Your buddy from California.
Yep.
He calls you Stu the Jew.
Yes,
Okay.
he does.
So we did record 11 episodes or so, and we called it X's and Uh-Ohs, and it was
Yep.
kind of interesting, fascinating, really.
Until it wasn't.
Until it wasn't. Okay, then we won't go into too many details, but basically, Dean McDermott left the project abruptly and said, please don't drop any more of the episodes that you have in the can. So I have on this hard drive these 11 episodes, and I think I got to drop 3 of them or something like that. And then Mary Jo and I got together, and we made it a different show called Senior Bitches, where it was kind of her talking about being in her 60s and the trials and tribulations of a woman in her 60s. And it was something else. And we worked hard on this for years, literally years. Actually got it to #1 in her category in Apple Podcasts. Long story short is she went on somebody who was in Bandits. Jan Arden.
Okay.
She went on Jan Arden's Jan Arden's a very popular podcast because she's a big singer with #1 hits and she's very funny. So Jan Arden, literally, so Mary Jo goes on Jan Arden's podcast. They always got along well and loved each other. Jan's been on Senior Bitches. Long story short, I got an email out of the blue from Mary Jo Eustace to say, like, this is the hardest email I ever had to write, but blah, blah, blah. I'm leaving you for Jan's podcast consortium or whatever, which is this woman named Sarah Burke and Jan Arden. And so I no longer produce Senior Bitches. She has gone to work with Jan Arden. And
see, now had you got them to sign a release beforehand, you would be protected.
But all this because you said Ira Levy, and I remember that name being the producer or founder, or I can't remember the exact designation, but the man behind What's for Dinner, which was the Mary Jo Eustace show.
There you go. Ira Levy also is the guy behind the kid
No more
show.
thoughts. Jan Arden, friend or foe? Did you get along with Jan?
I mean, when I worked with her, she was lovely.
She was in Bandits.
She was the best.
Good. And you used Insensitive in the movie.
I did, and she allowed that. So I got nothing against her. I'm sad that happened to you. But, maybe you need to get a sponsor who's also like a paralegal or a lawyer so that you can
Lauren Honickman.
So you can get paperwork with these people. And then
no,
they can't
I don't want to be
you.
the guy who legals up. As far as I'm concerned, Mary Jo, who I like personally, if she, we built this thing, it's going gangbusters. If she wants to take it to Jan Arden, then I say good luck.
You're a victim of the business. You put in the work. Like as a someone who works with developing talents. You see that all the time.
I got dragged in people.com
Yeah,
during
I saw
that
that.
project.
But you loved that.
I don't know if I loved it.
But you know, like you work with someone, you get them to a certain point, and then someone sexier comes along, and you did all that hard work, and they're fucking see you later. That's a story. That's a tale as old as time, Mike.
Well, you know,
welcome to the business, kid.
Well, you know what? I finally made it. I now have one of those stories.
Yes.
My client was poached by Jan Arden.
Yes.
I'm kind of proud of that. I'll get T-shirts made up. I thought about, again, on our way out, just go back in time a little bit here. This song is kind of like your Christmas hit.
Yes.
Let's hear
and
a bit of
it's actually
it.
in Bandits. When they
Like a kid on Christmas. What kind of medicine is this? I'm about to handle my business. In the morning, I'ma beg for the Lord's forgiveness. Woo!
Kid on Christmas.
Yes.
And this is not on Blowing Up, right? This is,
No.
What album is this on?
This was just like a Christmas single that we released, thinking like, hey, the world needs another Christmas song.
Blowing Up, which I have Mark Weisblatt's promo copy.
Yes.
As you pointed out
I
last
did.
time.
Yes. It's got the cut in it.
He didn't pay for that, but
No.
he gifted it to me, and it's on proud display right in front of the Brian Linehan picture from the Watchmen, who are from Winnipeg.
I appreciate that, and I appreciate them. They were playing when I was in Winnipeg. I was going to go see them. Just we were shooting on the same day, but that would have been nice.
Possibly sad news in that they had to postpone big events because Danny is unwell.
Oh, no.
The lead singer. I know, and I don't have any further detail. Not that I would
shit.
share them anyways, but we're always thinking of Danny, who performed live for us at a TMLX event.
I remember I was there for that one. So,
See, you do.
you know?
So, Alan, you're the one who missed out on those.
Yeah.
Danny
Where
Graves.
was Alan Gold at the ones I was at?
Great question.
So that's Alan's fucking problem.
Great fucking question here. One question about Blowing Up on our way out. That's
Sure.
the album with Jamie Kennedy.
Yep.
And there was a show, of course. How many episodes of that show were aired on
We
MTV?
did one season of the show, and we did a tour. We did an album, and we did a feature film called "Kicking It Old School," and that was the extent of the run.
But that's still, I mean, that's where Rolling with Saget comes from.
Bob
and we can
Saget,
bring in
all of that.
Decisive, who
Yep,
helped with that one.
sure.
And Circle, Circle, Dot, Dot.
Circle, circle, dot,
in
dot.
the Lego video, which was
Yep.
like number one on
YouTube. You were
YouTube.
again, ahead of our time.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, you're like the
Imagine
head
we
of the
would have
curve.
had like a viral hit now, then we would be like, instead of asking who's the Rizzler, you'd be like, who's Stu?
You'd be on The View tomorrow talking
Yeah,
about that fucking
exactly.
video. All of this is amazing, but
I'm still hoping for a circle, circle, dot, dot renaissance to happen, you know, because like sometimes
Like
on
TikTok?
yeah, like kids discover some old stuff. I think this song might be too dirty, but maybe the Trump effect will allow like dirty songs to come back.
just let it slide, y'all. I don't give a damn.
So yeah, this is something I feel like there could be like TikTok dances to someday. So maybe we'll get like a second wind out of this song, but who knows?
Do you still? Because it sold a lot of units. What was it? 350,000 copies sold.
I'm not going to argue with your math.
I read that somewhere. 350,000, which is in this country. I mean, that's an American thing, but still, that's a huge number. If Jan Arden sells 350,000 copies, she's got a hit record on her hand,
For sure.
especially in this country.
She probably has.
Well, Insensitive was, yeah, she has some big jams. Good Mother and Insensitive and all that. Do you ever see residual checks from your
No.
Blowing Up era?
No.
No more money left in that
Well,
banana
I mean,
stand.
maybe. You know, when Bob Saget was alive, there was like an economy for Rolling with Saget for sure, because he would play it all the time. But still, like nothing that would put your kids through, college or anything like that. I would say though that the memories and the life experiences that I had.
Invaluable.
I'm the richest man alive when it comes to memories and life experience.
It's a wonderful life.
Yes. I want to wish you and yours a happy holiday season, Michael. And
I
good
like it
luck.
when you call me Michael.
And good luck with the soccer practice.
Oh yeah, you know what? I mean, just
But to all
busy.
the listeners of your show, I want to say that 2024, it was nice to drop in a couple times. I'd like to do it a lot more in 2025.
I would love that.
Happy New Year. I hope that all of your holiday wishes and dreams come true. I hope that you make some good New Year's resolutions and you stick to it. And I hope that on January the 3rd, 2025, you tune into Hollywood Suite to watch Adam and I take over all the channels and watch Don't F with Ghosts. I appreciate the love and support. I do see it. I do notice it. I suppose I need to figure out how to like really make WhatsApp a part of my routine so that I can really keep better tabs on what's going on.
We miss you there, I'll be honest, because you're in there, but you're not in there.
Yeah, when you switched from Twitter to WhatsApp, you kind of lost me there. But maybe I can do a better job of trying to incorporate that into my routine, checking WhatsApp. But everyone who knows me on this show knows that I obviously have nothing but love and respect for everything you've built and created here, Mike. And shout out to Leva Famka. I'm so happy to hear she's doing well, and I hope everybody else is doing well. And I'll catch up with you guys sooner than later. And I'm a Hall of Famer, Mike. I'm not in a lot of Hall of Fames, but I'm in the Toronto Mike Hall of Fame.
You're an FOTM Hall of Famer.
Yes.
Nobody can take that away from you,
No.
Stu. You earned that.
Thank you. Unless I kill my wife one day or something like that.
I'd keep you in the Hall of Fame.
Thank you. Lots of love to you, though, Mike. Happy Christmas and Happy New Year to you.
What do you think of the new closing theme? It's a cover of Rosie and Grave done by Rob Pruce.
I was going to say. It's really cool.
And there's Easter eggs at the end. So I'm going to do the extra, and you and I are going to listen, and you can respond to the Easter eggs. I'll keep your mic open.
Sure.
So,
but thank you for having me.
And that brings us to the end of our 1,592nd show. Go to TorontoMike.com for all your Toronto Mike needs. Much love to all who made this possible.
What Toronto Mike needs would there be?
I don't know. Go to Blue Sky. I'm at TorontoMike.com there. That's where I am, TorontoMike.com. There, you might have Toronto Mike needs. I don't know. Great Lakes Brewery. What wonderful partners. You know, I got a lovely note from somebody who says they listen to Toronto Mike, they love the show, and they always drink their Octopus Wants to Fight while they listen. I think that's cool. People tie the beer to the listening. I think it's amazing.
Well, there you go. That's organic brand integration right there at its finest.
Palma Pasta. Couldn't ask for better partners. They were great hosts on Saturday. We love our Palma Pasta. RecycleMyElectronics.ca just renewed for all of 2025.
Really?
They're in for another 12 months. They love the partnership.
Well, it's working clearly. I mean, we are battling against climate change, one piece of electronic equipment at a time.
Moneris. Oh, listen closely. The Easter eggs are starting. Name that tune.
It's the Friendly Giant.
Yep, that's the Friendly Giant theme. So shout out to Moneris. You got your speaker. Here's another one. Name that tune.
Pizza Nova.
Yep. Alfie Zappacosta. You got it. 4-3. Yeah. Ridley Funeral Home. We're recording a new episode later today. See you all then. What about this?
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Rob Pruce.
Yeah.
He was a co-writer of this song. It's Romantic Traffic. Okay, we get a couple more, I think.
This is a great vamp, we call this in the business. Wow. He's busting out all the hits.
That's a Shadowy Men and a Shadowy Planet from the Kids in the Hall. Oh, and he comes back to Rosie and Gray to take us home. I'm going to see this band tonight at the Rivoli.
Great. Please send my love.
I will say hi. Thank you, Stu.
Thank you. Good night.